Morning, good morning. Welcome to my stream. My name is Ace. I'm a hobbyist. I'm creating my very own art project. Probably the first major art project ever, I would say. Did a lot of small projects as for fun and yeah, little things here. Like I did a wall mural for something, but that's neither here nor there. This is the project that we're working on now. Okay, it's a web comic that I've written. It's I got a whole volume done. Okay, and I'm slowly editing it so I can start making pages. And I'm making 3D meshes to use as reference for those pages. Okay, we've already started our first one. This is what we have so far. This is the high poly version. All right, I'm doing clothes for the first time. Sculpting from scratch. All right, normally, um, and I will be doing that on this model as well. I would just use like it's a substitute for Marvelous Designer that I have found. I'm still learning how to use it, but if I can get these boots done, you might see it today. I don't know. I've never done footwear before, but this is our first try here. This is our very basic shapes for boots, combat boots. I am making a soldier type character. This is the first character that's going to appear in the webcomic. And I'm doing them by order of appearance. Okay. So where we last left off yesterday was I was trying to get the ridge that is around the sole and the actual boot. He's wearing combat boots. And we're going to continue doing that now. Okay. So the first thing I see here that I need to do is I need to bring this in a little bit closer to the boot, and probably I'm using reference for this. I'm looking at pictures of boots that I have off to the side here, and probably raise the toes of the boots and round them out a little bit more. So we're just gonna get right into it. If you're watching from the VOD, YouTube, or live, whatever, I don't know for sure. I don't really pay attention to that stuff. But if you are watching, I appreciate you coming here. I'm going to try to document my entire process of making this webcomic, and hopefully, I think I have a good feeling it's going to turn out the way I want it to. I did a project previously about 3 weeks ago or so to determine how the it's going to be in 2D, even though I'm using 3D for reference. Uh, I determined how the art style is going to look. I'm pretty satisfied with it. Probably just needs a little bit more polish, and as soon as I get time, I'm going to touch up that piece and post it somewhere on social media. There's some things that, even though I consider it done, there's still some things I kind of forgot to do before I call it done, and I want to fix the background a little bit more. That character was just for practice. It's that character won't be featured in the web comic, to my knowledge, but yeah, I created my own little universe, and I want to start making stories of it, just for fun. If you're bored or whatever, you want to read a comic, you can come and read this one if you want. So the ridge is, I'm looking at a top-down view. The ridge isn't super thick like it is here. All right, it doesn't look like an ice cream bar. So right now, I'm just trying to pull it in a little bit, and since I have symmetry on, it's gonna do the other side as well. All right. So I'm just slowly working it in and trying to get the proper size for the sole. And that's basically all we're doing right now. I don't have much. Looking at the anatomy of a boot, I really don't have much to do here. So, but like I said, I've never done boots before, so it might take a little longer than anticipated. But I got the shape down. All I have to do is just sculpt the tongue a little bit. Probably gonna need to remesh for that. I could do a texture for the shoestring, and of course the soles of the boot. Sculpt that too, but Right now, we're just still trying to get the outer shape looking somewhat, accurate. It doesn't have to be perfect, but I'm gonna try to do the best that I can. Now, as I am pushing this in, I want to make sure that I keep the shape of the boot that we've established yesterday, right? And I'm just looking around, looking. I have a full view this time. I think I was missing the exact front view and the back view of the boots. I just had like 3/4 views and side views yesterday, and I had to get a back view on the fly, which normally I didn't do that. I was kind of I kind of started a little later than I wanted to. I'm not going to tell you why, but maybe you could guess. I had my start time and I was ready, but I had to postpone for like an extra 30 minutes. Okay. Anyways, yeah, I didn't fully prepare for yesterday's stream, but it's okay. We're on track now. That's all that matters. All right, so we're pushing in. It's getting a little better. I think it's not a lot of space between the boot and the sole here, so we're gonna keep pushing this closer to the boot. Okay, and we're just gonna go do another pass around here. Yeah, it's just been just the same old for me. Okay, I haven't really been listening to any podcasts, but I was looking at some B, C, D movie reviews. Okay, was definitely doing that. Find those entertaining. You have your famous ones like Red Letter Media. Enjoy watching them and on YouTube. And I like Jason Brandt's So Bad It's Good series. It's very entertaining. Probably my favorite, I would say. And they have a lot. They have a very very consistent uploads. You want to watch some very if you're entertained by weird movies, weird low budget movies, that's a good channel to watch. Okay, I need to push in the boots a little bit more. So I'm going to do that. I'm working on this boot now. I guess it's it's symmetrical, so it'll all be the same. And from the looks of it, well, the front maybe not so much, but we can fix that. And it looks like we're gonna have to push the bottom up a little bit more too. Still looks like he's kind of wearing boot shaped slippers. That's what it looks like he's wearing to me. But we will fix it. Okay. We just need to up the radius a little bit, and we can do that. All right. Okay. Looks like I can't push it up as much as I want because of my foot. My mesh's foot is right there. As you can see, there's a little space on right here on this side that's coming out, sticking out a little bit. So we're going to have to just adjust the rounded area that curves up a little bit and nothing else. We can't push it up any further, which means we're going to have to beef up the bottom if we want to sculpt the sole of the boot and all the little grooves under there, which is not a problem. We're just going to have to do it. I think I'm gonna have to remesh before I do that though. Matter of fact, speaking of remesh, we're okay. We're right there. We got that ready to go. Let me get rid of stroke here and brush settings. We're not gonna use that or anything. We have all that stuff right up here, so there's really no point in having that out. Just want to see remesh because that's what we're going to be primarily using. Now I could just make some very basic clothing. I think that's how I practiced with fabric. Okay, just make something very basic without pockets and pouches or whatever and collars. But if I ever want to take and use meshes further, I want to be able to create something accurate, like maybe like a video game character or an animation. You're gonna want something a little better than this. I do not understand Sea Titan. I don't understand, okay? What does that mean? If you keep it English, I'd appreciate it. So boots, we are going let me push this in somewhat. Okay. Teach me expert. Oh, well, if you watch long enough, because right now, I've never done boots before, so I mean, you'll be learning at the exact same moment that I am. All right. It's pretty easy to get into. If you watch the VODs, you can see how I got this far. All I did was do a simple mask and then extract the mask as a it's its own mesh and then just sculpt it from there so far. And you can do that for pretty much any article of clothing like this. Like he's got this underwear here. You could do that for a shirt, pants, whatever. But I'm going to go a slightly different route from there. I'm probably only going to do the shirt that way, the same way that I did the boots. Hey, welcome. Oh, thank you, 99. Welcome to the stream. Good morning. We're doing boots now, and I'm going to continue doing that, of course. I'm trying to push in this area a little bit. Just made low poly. My PC will turn to leaf blower if I open Blender. Oh no. Yeah. I built I mean I when I practiced 3D sculpting when I first learned it, I was actually using the streaming computer that you're viewing me on right now, but I made a computer that could handle rendering a little bit better, and hopefully we're gonna test and see exactly how far I can go with it. Now I'm looking at a top view of some boots here. Of course, this side's going to be rounded. You're only going to have the arch on this side, like with most shoes, probably all shoes, I would say. And we have the bend on this side for some reason. I pushed it in a little bit too far. So we're going to increase that radius there and just pull that out just a little bit. Boom, like that. Okay. You know what? Mine is a 32-bit 3 RAM. I use phone to modeling and oh, I did not know you could use a phone for modeling. That's interesting. I guess smartphones are strong enough now to do something like that. I think if you keep it like these like if you can open vertices and faces and then just keep track of how many polygons you're using and find the upper limit of your system and only work in something fell behind me and only work in the amount of polygons that won't kill your frames per second. It'll be a challenge, but I think it's possible. For me, I can like this high poly here is 12 million. Only made low poly for now, yeah. Yeah, this is the high poly, right? I have a low poly mesh too. I want to primarily work in low poly as well. It's the same mesh, but this is now hang on. This is the low poly version. This is the amount here. I guess you go by faces, 35, 34,000 polygons here. And this is 12 million. I can't keep making things in 12 million here, so what we're doing is we're doing the hang on. We're doing the high poly and then we're going to transfer the deep. Is it not overlapped? Yeah, it's overlapped. You wouldn't have them both viewing at the same time. One I just hide the one and have the other visible. That's all. When it's all said and done, it'll just be this one that's being used, but it'll have the details of the high poly baked onto the low poly. That's pretty much what most people do if they want to work with low poly and still have detail. Or so I've learned. You know, at least that's what I'm going to do. I don't honestly don't know the full process, the most common process, but that is what I'm doing. So it should look closer. The low poly should look closer to this, even though it's low poly and this is high poly. I have to do the shoes in high poly because if I use the mask extract, the lines won't be straight because there's too few polygons. So I just do it in high and then just make a low poly version. And there's different ways to do it. I did the body by hand, but the clothing here, you could just use an add-on like quad remesher, and you can just set the quad count that you want, and then just remesh it with that. This is very close to ZBrush or Z remesher, which is something that I am very used to. That's how I learned how to do 3D modeling on ZBrush, but I don't have a ZBrush license. So if I want to do anything with 3D, I'd rather just have, you know, something that it's okay to do it on. And I don't want to pay a subscription, so I'm just doing it on Blender, which is free. It's not as hard as you think, C Titan. It's not if all you have to do, if you get a decent enough reference and you can sculpt something and you know how to use the program, literally people is the first thing that I've learned how to do. But I've been drawing all my life. I draw characters on my spare time, and that's pretty much what I'm doing here. I'm just making characters for a webcomic, and that's and but I've been drawing for years since I was a kid, basically. So it was a little easier for me to get the grasp of how to do a person with a good reference. You know, if you, as long as you have like if you have enough pictures of a person, like if you wanted to do like celebrity is good because you can always find a picture of celebrity and you know throughout their life, throughout the various stages of their life, and then you have them at every angle pretty much, and then you use resources like anatomy for sculptors, so you can get like a body part like in every angle, like say like if you have lips or a nose or something like that, you could get like you can sculpt it this way, but you have to look at it from every angle. And you can see here you need a picture of a nose like this too, and how it looks from the top. And as long as you have enough reference, you can sculpt pretty well. I make vehicles as long as I have the yeah. People are just the same way. That's cool too. I need to make some vehicles too, to be honest, because that would be nice to have for like background stuff. But since it's not important to my project, I could probably just like find a free asset and just have it sitting in the background or something like that. But eventually, I would like to try to make other things other than people too, just in case of like I want to make a game or something, not to make all the assets. People make a bottle or something, put it on the shelf, make the shelf. Welcome, low base guy. I'm good. How are you? Just sculpting some boots for the first time. I'm trying to get these. the soles here to come closer to the boot. Oh, hey, all right. Well, I'm just don't get caught, okay? I appreciate you doing this. And choosing my stream to watch here. I just do a lot of art so far. Um, I don't know how you feel about game streams, but I'm looking towards doing that sometime in the future, just just for fun. But I so far I started about doing this regularly about what 2 3 months ago, and I've just been doing art so far. Doing a project. It's a I'm doing this is going to be a reference for a web comic. Right now I'm making clothes, and clothes are I'm still pretty pretty much a beginner when it comes to clothes. So you're going to be seeing me learn how to do clothes basically for the first time. I can do very basic things like just basic pants, shirt, jacket, but it won't have any detail, no collar, no pocket or anything. And we're going to learn how to do that. Mini asset on Sketchfab, mine there too. Oh, okay. Yeah, there's a lot of sites for that. I wanted to try to learn how to make my own though, because sometimes you don't like it's good to know where the assets come from. Like if I want to use it in a video game, and it could be a little problematic if, or it could be a little problematic if you're using assets that somebody made on a program that they don't have a license for. And I'm pretty sure that some companies can find out, like if they get a hold of the file. So, and instead of having to worry about that, I've been just making my own assets. When I did practice, I did, when I made some practice sculpts, and I did use like free boots and things like that just to visualize the concept. But now we're going to try to learn how to do it ourselves. So this now we're this is how far I've gotten so far. I'm still working on the shape here. Um, but I'm okay with this so far. And since the webcomic won't be in 3D, this is a character that I am making to use as reference for a webcomic. I've taken 3 years and wrote an entire volume for a webcomic, start to finish. And this is the character that is he's the first character that appears in the webcomic. I'm doing them by order of appearance. It's a sci-fi espionage type webcomic. It's about some students that find like a secret government project, and they try to use it to save their terminally ill friend. Hey, realness, welcome to the stream. Good morning. Hope you're having a good morning. And this is the guy. This guy here is the first character that appears in the webcomic. He is. It's in 1972. He is a soldier in Vietnam. The story is not about the Vietnam War. Well, actually, technically, he's in Cambodia. The first scene's in Cambodia. But he's not in. It's not about the Vietnam War. That's just the backdrop, okay, of the thing. So if you're averse to that subject, it's not about that at all. That's just where the story starts. But so yeah, he's gonna have Vietnam era army fatigues on, and I am currently sculpting some combat boots for this character. I've never done them before, so this is the first time I'm doing them. Like I said, I'm not good at clothes. I've only practiced on making human bodies. You see, it's not perfect, but it's all right. I can use this as a reference if I wanted to. If I wanted to draw somebody walking around in their underwear, I could do that. And if you look at if you want, you could see a good idea of how the webcomic art will look in my past few streams. I took a week off, but the streams that I did about a week or two ago is somewhat close to how I want the webcomic art to look in the future. I'm trying to get the first 7 characters done so I can start planning the pages out. Okay, that's cool. Just in case, some people don't like, war subjects, and there is some violence in this story. So I'm just letting you know now, just so this is what it is. It's a mature comic, but it's not like that mature. But if you're ever bored or something and you want to read a web comic, I'll have the link at some point in the future. You know, there will be a link somewhere to when the web comic is up. So I don't even have a domain yet. Still got to get that, but yeah, it's yeah, it's got some sci-fi in it. It also has a little bit of fantasy. You know, it's not completely grounded in reality. You know, there's some very fantastical things that happen in the story, but I wanted to try to keep it as sci-fi as possible. I got you. If I were really bothered, I would just leave without starting anything. Yeah, yeah. Thank you so much for following, little bass guy. Thank you. I didn't. I guess the are the are the notif or is the alert? Is that on? Did that happen? I had to turn it down. I had it too loud when the last time. I hope it still works. It's just a silly alert. But does the alert pop up? I didn't get anything at all. As actually, not even OBS. It said, oh, "Okay, that's no problem." I was just curious. It's very silly, but I animated it, so you know I didn't want all that hard work to go to waste. No one's gonna see it. Okay, I have to take a look at that. Stream Alerts was telling me yesterday that there was a new update or something, but I had to give them permission. I don't know if it was a scam or what, but I have to look into that. I've only seen the alert pop up one time since I've been streaming, so because mostly if people would follow when I'm not live or it was the alert just wasn't. I didn't have it set up correctly when I first started streaming either. I use Stream Elements live and I also get an update like yesterday. I think I think that's what they were saying. It wasn't Stream Elements, but it was Stream Alerts for Twitch. But I have to look at that. Yeah, I'm using OBS, so it's I don't know. I have to take a look. Okay, that's not so bad as far as the ridge between the sole and the boot. I just want to get it to where it looks somewhat like a boot, you know, as accurate as I can get it. All right, let me save that and keep going here. It kind of looks like a sandwich down here at the bottom. We're gonna try to fix that at some point in the future. Let me push up. Got some toe fixing popping out there. Do you share your work on Instagram? I plan to. I actually have a I actually made an Instagram website and my first or sorry, a page, but my first drawing that I did still got to do a few touch-ups that I forgot to do, but once that's done, I'm going to post it. Did I put the link below? Maybe I did. If I didn't, it will be in the future. I did, but I may have taken it down because I didn't have anything up yet. But yes, expect a Instagram link in the future. I saw and follow your Twitter, but there isn't a whole lot on it. Yeah, I haven't been using it a lot, and but I will be posting my art on that as well. I'm sorry for that. Um, Most of my focus has been on my project, so I haven't, and I don't have a lot to upload yet, but I will. I made that Twitter when I was very close to finishing my story, and it was just originally it was just going to be for the webcomic updates, but now I'm going. I guess I can use it for streaming. Just want to be supportive. Oh yeah, I appreciate that, though, base guy. Thank you so much. Yeah, we're gonna be updating all that stuff. I just need to work a little faster. My schedule is still not where I want it to be, but we're going to try to get there. It's already, you know, it was a little more little things I didn't anticipate when I started doing this, but you know, it's nothing that I can't handle. I feel pretty good about it, and it's just very fun to do. So I like doing it. So we're going to let's see here. We're going to okay. I just rounded out that boot a little bit there at the top. what I need to do now is I want to push the part of the boot here that curves upward away from the ground. Push that in a little bit, but I need less radius in order to do so. So we're gonna do that. Okay. Push that in some just to get it to where we want. I may have to just remesh this some more. And we're going to attempt to get the proper shape here for the front of the boot. And the fabric of the clothes, I'm trying to basically, I'm going to try to make that a little better. I won't with this I have this add-on here that will just make fabric and wrap it around the character. Oh, that's great. Weirdness. I have to start that. What's that? Tears of the King. I have to start Breath of the Wild, and then I have to get Tears of the Kingdom, and then start that. Okay, that's what I got to do. I'm so far behind on my basically all the games that I have. I'm so far behind. I'm gonna just end up playing them on stream at this point because it's an endless amount of games. My 2 cents review. Yeah, I don't really have much to say about either game other than I still need to play them. It looks like something that I would play. I like open world stuff. I don't mind. Um, one day I will do all of the Zelda. I'm gonna try to do all the Zelda games like in one, not in one go, but like back to back. The whole franchise, just play the whole franchise from start to finish, like over a period of time. There's no way I can do that in one day. I'm not a speedrunner. The closest thing I can speedrun is Metal Gear, and that's gonna take a few hours still. Tears of the Kingdom is probably objectively the best Zelda. Too bad I played Breath of the Wild first. Oh yeah, because yeah, that's one thing that I know about the game is that it's not very different from the first two, right? How long have you been streaming on Twitch? I started streaming in 2013, but it was like really random streams. Like I was just streaming it just to stream. Every time when I felt like playing something and streaming it, I was streaming it. I would say between 2013 and 20 uh 18, it was probably like less than 20 streams that I would do. I would just stream, like put something on, and then I just did like random games, and it was like no mic and no camera, and I had like 6 followers. That was basically it for like. And then I was like, you know what, let me focus on writing my webcomic because I had this idea in my head to, I got this whole universe of characters that I just draw, in my spare time. I was like, you know what, let me try to get this out and see if people would like this, So I stopped streaming and in like 2016, 2015, I would say, and I was streaming Minecraft and Terraria, Batman, The Last of Us, like very random stuff. Oh, and Dark Souls 3. I think that might have been one of the last things I streamed. And then I just wrote the web comic for like 3 years. And when I came back to streaming recently, which was 2 months ago, I was like, okay, I'll just stream the progress of my art now. So I put a lot of effort into the story, but and I wasn't too sure about how the art would look, so I kind of like focused in on the art, which is why the webcomic isn't out yet. But I'm glad that I waited because I really like how the art is now for the art that I kind of want to do. And of course, I had work and things like that and real life stuff that kind of prevented me from being further than I am now. But as far as progress is for the project, but I definitely couldn't stream during that time, so that kind of took a backseat. I really like that though. We need more 3D artists on Twitch. I posted your stream in our community, so hopefully. Oh, I appreciate that. Low base guy. Thank you. Thank you. Get you some more followers in there. You definitely deserve more from what I can tell. I appreciate that so much, low base guy. Thank you so much. Really, from the bottom of my heart. Yeah, well, I hope they I hope they like this story that I got cooked up if they ever get into it. Eventually I'll have the link on there. It's really good at explaining the process. Yeah, this is this is a very newly acquired skill. I started doing this I started learning this in 2021, 2022, and I was able to at least get a body in like I would say about 4 months. And then it took me a while to get to learn how to rig. Hey, studio, welcome. Good morning. Welcome to the stream. Still working on my boots. But yeah, I would say rigging was probably I learned how to manually rig the body. It was that took longer than actually learning how to make a believable human. But now you can. He's no longer 10 toes down. Yeah, no, he's not. He's no longer 10 toes down. His toes are back. Well, his toes are always there. See, his toes are there. His toes are okay. The toes are all right. Um, oh, thank you, little bass guy. Yeah, just some good. Once you get it, sculpt. That's something that's very helpful with sculpting is anatomy, learning the anatomy, because you can get with a decent side view, back view, whatever. Besides its privates, I didn't do that. And I just put a mound there. But besides that, everything you can get good, very good reference of all the muscles and even learn some of the names too. If you would, it's a good way to learn anatomy, is what I'm trying to say. Sculpting. Just trying to see what else I can do here before I remesh it. Lump chunk. Yeah, I'm gonna make sure here because I'm working in the high poly mesh, and Blender is not like ZBrush where you can go like upwards of like 60 million polygons. So you know, masking and extracting any part of this body will lag the system. And I've got to make sure now that as we keep going here, because this will be remeshed for the low poly, of course, which is right here. This is a fraction of what we are working with right now, and it'll have the details baked on to this. And it's still, as you can see, it's still polygonal. I got to smooth it out. Yeah, I tried to smooth it out yesterday, but it created a problem. I got to check and see how I can fix that. Like the back of his knees will deform a little bit, but we'll figure that out. And if we don't, he'll have clothes on anyway, so I'll be able to hide it. But yeah, that's where we're at. We're going to figure out how to make some real looking clothes. I've dabbled in 3D art sculpting, but most of my 3D art is just me messing around in programs like Daz Studio. I mainly focus on my photography these days. Oh yeah, that's great. That's great. I actually started in Daz Studio as well. When I first created this character, in fact, I used a basic Daz Studio model that came, and then I had a add-on on there where you can. It's like I forget what it's called. It's a body add-on that you can put on Daz Studio that has like the sliders that you would see in a video game creator where you can just create that. And I created this guy as best as I could with the sliders. I slid his face like he kind of has like angular cheekbones. That's like a defining feature of this character. I didn't have any of the facial detail here because he's like 45 years old, but for more or less he was similar to this, and that's how I because I drew and I used that and drew the guy now, and then I in turn used that as reference to make this as well as with act like photos of actual people to make it look realistic. I totally cheat with rigging and sculpted characters by just importing them to Daz and then just transferring the rigging from one of the base characters and adjusting from there. I wish I had known that when I first had Daz Studio. I didn't know anything about that stuff. I just I figured, when I was drawing my characters, I was saying to myself, I was saying, man, because when I need a reference, I would just go to Google and then try to extrapolate as best as I could what I wanted, because I like very specific things when I do reference. Like it could be a pose or lighting. It's mainly the things that I would try to use reference for. And but it's very hard finding specific stuff when you're just using Google Images. So I was thinking like, yeah, okay, well, why don't I just use like just so I can get the perspective right, a 3D model. But I didn't know anything about rigging or anything like that. And without a reference, if I draw something and then draw it again, it'll like I'll try to improve it. Like I'll try to subconsciously improve it. So that's not that level of inconsistency was going to be very noticeable in a short amount of time. And I want to try to avoid that. I want to try to make the art as consistent as possible for my webcomic. So I said, okay, well, why don't I just full blown learn 3D sculpting and just sculpt my characters in 3D instead of just using like approximations of of my characters as models. And yeah, here I am. It was like about a year or two after that I started doing that. This is only my second male model though. I've mainly practiced on women, but yeah, it turned out pretty well. But yeah, if I had known about the rigging then, I'd probably still be on that studio because that was really all I really need. I know I have a good idea of how all my characters would look and what they would wear, but the better the reference, the better it's things are going to turn out. I think as far as consistency. I think one of the I still try to add things in my pieces that I never really drawn. I think my last piece was it was a shiny leather jacket. I never really tried to draw leather and outside during the day so where I can reflect the surroundings off of the thing. I've never really done things like that. So I try to always challenge myself and draw things that I don't normally draw. The only time I really reflected the subject off of something was like water, and that was like a long time ago, a long long time ago. It was a request for a Pokemon, Toxic Croak. I think there was some people in the art community that they followed. A lot of people were doing the realistic Pokemon back in the day because there was this person named Arvalus who did that, and it really caught on with people. And I said, you know what? Let me try that too. It's not something I normally do, and but I haven't played Pokemon in years. So I was like, I was kind of unsure of which one I should try to attempt to do that with that hasn't been done already. I was going to choose Slowbro, but 99 in the chat here suggested Toxicroak 'cause that's his favorite. So I drew that. I drew him in a swamp. Um, but I think I made him a little too humanoid. So it turned out well. It was just it was a little he was a little humanoid. It was like a Witcher monster or something like that. But I gave it a shot. It was fun. I like doing creature designs too. It's part of the reason why I did that piece. I didn't really do anything, but I'm gonna save it. Okay, you know what? Let me try to beef up the bottom of the boot here. Yeah, that's the process that I'm trying to work on here with my webcomic. It's basically just to keep everything consistent because I always try to improve on something, and I feel like that would not. Well, I don't know. I mean, it's natural for your webcomic art to improve over time, but when I draw something and then I draw it again, and it's like it the difference I feel is going to be, and it might plateau. I might go 10 pages where it's like okay, it's better, 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 and then plateau for like a long time or whatever. but I'd rather just keep it consistent. So just so it's not noticeable in a shorter period of time. I feel like the art is fine the way it is, so there's no need for it to radically be different. Unless I'm doing like I guess the the only difference that that I would be willing to leave in the book is like the difference between the cover art and the pages. And I know a lot of people they simplify it so they can do it faster, but I want to try to keep everything consistent and maybe just do like go like really hard on like cover pages because it's not gonna be done like a manga. I'm gonna try to do it like a Western comic. I don't know if they do. I'm pretty sure they do covers for like webtoons and things like that. I'm pretty sure they do. I haven't actually read a webtoon though. I've been looking for one to get into. Oh, thanks. Uh, yeah, I want to try to try to get it as accurate as possible. My webcomic won't be it'll be semi-realistic, but I'm keeping the 3D models a little on the realism side. You definitely can have a cover. Okay, that's what I thought. Like like I've seen a lot of webcomics to get an idea of like what people are doing, what works, what doesn't work, and why, and more importantly, why webcomics fail. And a lot of it is because they do it on the fly and they don't know where they end up not knowing where to take the story. I feel like having a cover makes it feel more official. Yeah, I want to do covers for mine. Our community's Ma is a graphic designer who specializes in book covers, and she often uses 3D models, mainly dad's models, in her work. Yeah, yeah, yeah. When I first thought of this, it was a new concept for me. I didn't realize that people were, this was something that people were doing. I would have done it a lot sooner. I wish I'd known. I would have tried this like way back. I got into digital art in 2010. I come from pencil and paper. I thought, you know what? Yeah, let me try to do digital art in Photoshop and whatnot. I had done Photoshop once before that, and that was way back when I was in high school. Um, I just, but I drew in Photoshop like I would draw on paper. I didn't use any of the digital tricks or anything like that. But yeah, I wish I had known back in the when I first started that this was the route I was gonna take. When I first got into digital art, I just stuck with the basic brushes and because I wanted to my reasoning was in sticking with basic brushes and not using too many of the tricks so I could jump back and forth between mediums without without any problems. It's like, oh no, I need to, control Z. Well, I can't do that on, in real life. But that's actually not a problem. I don't know. I thought that might have been a problem if I would have relied on things like that, but it's not really a big deal. I feel like I could if I wanted to draw because I got a bunch of sketchbooks here. I feel like I wanted if I wanted to draw back on paper again, it wouldn't be a problem. Uh-oh, got some things here. Man, I wish so bad I could control Z real life. Erase so many portions. All right, studio. Thanks a lot for lurking. Yeah, you know, it's part of learning. You got to learn somehow. You have to know what works and what doesn't. Sometimes that means experiencing, the bad decisions. Things would be very different if I knew now what I knew 10 years ago. Or sorry, what if I knew 10 years ago what I knew now? But that's only because I experienced Control Z my entire 20s. Oh wow, that's pretty harsh. Got a scorched earth it, huh? Okay. Oh, did I hit remesh? I don't think I did. There we go. Now I did. All right, let me see something here. No, that's why we don't do that. And we'll just control Z that. Hey, have you ever read Poetics? No. I'm grateful for the perspective, knowledge, skills, and abilities that I have today, but I would not necessarily mind erasing the pain of going through getting to that point. Yeah, I mean, that's understandable. Oh, man. I may have to just lower the strength, perhaps. Let's see. If I did that, what happens up top? Nothing. Let's say we're learning as we go on this here. Okay. So you're gonna see a lot of things that I would normally do off stream right now. But eventually, it was gonna come to this. I was gonna have to be on the frontier of something eventually. Oh, I highly recommend it. It's a short book by Aristotle and the Rules of Theater, but it applies to all art. Oh, okay. Yeah, is that something like how what the Book of Five Rings is for I guess you could apply that to anything too. Really. I found it in a drawer one day. I just read it. I was like, huh, this is very interesting. It's a good comparison. Yeah, I figured because it has a lot of a lot of parallels with other professions as far as topics that it explores. It's the art of war for artists. Okay, I'll take a look at that then. All right, so I guess the brush was just too strong. I want to beef up the bottom so we can carve in the bottom of the boot here. This is one of the references I'm using. We're going to carve that in at some point. But if I carve it in now, you're going to start seeing his feet. So we want to try to add some polygons here since we remeshed it, and that's what we're going to do. A lot of his ideas are definitely outdated, being a 2,000-year-old book, but so interesting. Yeah, there's a lot of things in the past that we as a species have forgotten. It was mainly science stuff, but it wouldn't surprise me if it was other things too. They knew they. Well, I don't know. Honestly, I don't know where we stand on the ninth planet, but they had all the nine of the planets carved in stone in ancient Sumeria. So it's like, okay, why are we now? But we discovered this when supposedly in the 1800s, 1700s. I don't know. They knew that. They knew that thousands of years ago. So what else did we forget? That's the big question. It's not really. I don't know. This is. I don't think there's a lot of things that cover things. It's yeah, Alexandria Library. Yeah, unfortunate. Unfortunately, my boss just entered the building. I have to actually act like I'm doing some work before I go. Did want to invite you to the community. We are called the Web, and all we're about is supporting our fellow creatives. That's it. I think you really enjoy how supportive the community is, and think they'd be really. I think they'd really like your streams as well. Would you like the link to it? Oh yeah, sure. I don't. I need to figure out how to activate links on the thing. Can you send it to? Could you DM me on Twitter? Is that possible? And then I'll post the link down below because we have a lot of artists in our little network. Studio and 99, they're both artists as well. And I see more than a few come and go, and we're often our communities brush shoulders. Uh, yeah, and I can share it with everyone that it's in my network as well. Yeah, do both if you can. I don't know if I have whispers on right now. I currently don't have my browser up. I'm actually looking at this through OBS and nothing else. That's it. Because um I didn't want my web browser to web browser uh, workload or whatever to interfere with OBS. Nice meeting you too, low base guy. Thank you so much again for stopping by and for sharing my work with your community. We're gonna get everybody going. We're gonna get everybody interlinked here. I'll have that on my page below. I'm gonna try to set that up today if I can, and I'll share it with Studio and 99's discords as well. You have a lot of artists there. Yeah, you do have whispers blocked. I'll get you on Twitter. Yeah, long time ago, I used to watch Doctor Disrespect, and a lot of people they'll just beg for stuff for some reason in big streams like that. So I had to turn whispers off. This was a long time ago, probably before I started writing my webcomic. Yeah, I think. So I had them turned off ever since because people would just, if you typed anything, people would just randomly ask you for whatever it is that you would get, like drops or something. I forget what it was, but you get free stuff looking at those types of streams, and people will just come out of the woodwork and be like, hey, can I have your codes or whatever? And I'm like, man, get out of here. Get out of here. Leave me alone. And then there's a whole, it's a lot more scams and things like that in those in bigger streams. So I turned that stuff off. 1,000 DMs, I'll give you $10 to draw my emotes. Oh my gosh. Yeah. No, I'm good. When I first fired this stream up, this iteration of my stream, that was as soon as I hit start streaming, I got immediately a bot. I was like, okay, let's get rid of that one. I've only gotten 2 so far, but you know, oh, we got a problem here. What we got here? What we got here? Can we fix that? Nah, that's not a big deal. I'm gonna control shift Z 3 times because that's how many times I hit the button. You're also what? I am? Man, I don't know why I did that, honestly. Well, crud. Maybe they turned that off for me. From it changing hands. I don't there's no reason why I would do that. Yeah, sorry about that. I honestly don't remember doing that. I don't know if that was me who did that. Maybe Twitter automatically did that. Yeah, yes. So, uh, yeah, I can't wait till I start actually posting my art on Twitter. Oh my goodness. Why does that happen? One day we'll know. One day we'll know why that happens. Right now, I don't know. Yeah, I'm gonna have to take a look at those settings as soon as I get off. I'm gonna assume that's you, realness. Thank you if you if you sent that link to me. We're gonna get some we're gonna get that circulating. All right, thank you, realness. Okay, we got some boots. We got a shape of a boot anyway. We just need to. I'm thinking because I'm running out of polygons, that's why that's happening. I didn't have to worry about things like this when I was doing the high poly mesh. The invitation is open to you as well. You don't have to be a streamer to be a part of the community. It's very kind. See you, low base guy. Thank you so much for stopping by. I really appreciate what you've done so far, and for your viewership and for helping out, being an awesome person. We're going to get those links and pass them around to our fellow artists. I'm super lazy creative. It's never too late. That's what I tell my friends. My friends who are thinking about leaning into art, but they struggle a lot, with motivation and things like that. I say just do it, just do it, and then you have something to build off of, But they have to be the ones to do it. So if I record 5 songs in a year, that's productive. That's a productive year for me. Well, that's isn't that like a typical artist now? I think that's like what? That's half an album. That's not well. I mean, hell no. How many art? Well, like, what's the typical amount that an artist would do? I don't know. I don't. That's not. That's a side I don't know. Like I want to do animation. Um, Sometimes when I think of music, like if I go to sleep and like I'm like in a half sleep state or whatever, or I dream about a piece of music and it's like something that like, oh, this is really cool. I should probably try to, you know, remember this one day. So if I ever get into music, I can actually make this a real thing. But I can't hold on to it. It's like I can play it over and over in my head. I'm like, okay, I'm not gonna forget this. I'm not gonna forget this. And then I think about something else for 2 seconds, and all that time spent thinking about this music that I dreamed up is now gone, and I can't remember how it went or anything like that. And every time I'm disappointed. I was like, man, if I just had the ability to just create music on the fly, or at least write the notes down, something. Because I'm not musically inclined, but sometimes I think of music pieces that I think could work in some capacity, and it's just gone. It's just in the span of a few seconds, it's completely gone. But every now and then, I feel like I could be a musician of some sort. I want to try to make my own music for something, but I already do so much with this art. I don't know how I would fit that into what I already do. For a 15-song album, anywhere from 40 to 100 songs is normal. Oh yeah. The only person that I know that I've known for a fact that would do that is Tupac, because you always hear a new song with him, and he's been passed away for years now. For years now, I don't know if every art. I didn't know that how many artists had that same drive. I always suspected that it was just him who did things like that, but I guess it's possible that that's a normal thing for artists. They just never release that music for whatever reason. But if I was a musician and I look at that, I'm like, okay, even I mean, it might be because he's dead, but it's his music is still getting attention and still getting play, and people are still using his music for whatever reason. There has to be a way for a living artist to see that, and they have this catalog of unused music. Like, what could they use that for? I think if I were them, say like I'm Taylor Swift or whatever, right? I'm Taylor Swift. I don't know if she does this. And she probably doesn't have to do this because she's so big. She's like at the top, if not near the top, at the top or above the top. I don't know. I don't listen to Taylor Swift, but if I was her and I had a bunch of unused catalog music, I don't think spreading that around to like other mediums would diminish her music, right? Like maybe like you could take a couple of unused songs and like sell them to like a game developer and have them use that, and that that's more exposure, and video games do need music, so why not, right? Tupac was the first rapper to really record that much, and Tupac still overdid it. There's 700 plus unique Tupac songs in the span of 5 years, and he was in jail and court for a lot of that. Yeah, yeah. Like you can do that and never work again and still make money, right? And I know big artists, they have one song maybe that does that for them. So maybe they don't have to do it, but maybe like a middling artist, someone who's not bottom tier but not at the top, but they have the popularity, they have enough popularity, they're known enough. maybe they could do something like that. Like, oh, hey, I got all these songs. Maybe like maybe put them in a video game and get more exposure and more money over time. I don't know how to. I know the music industry is a little more cutthroat, and a lot of that stuff, a lot of the money goes into the pockets of whoever isn't the artist. But if there is any scenario where there's a musician out there who owns all of their music and they're famous, maybe that could be an option for them. I think if I were in that position, I would try to do that. But like I said, I don't know the music industry, so I don't know how successful that would be. Really depends on the artist. Yeah, I figured. Like I said, that's one art I don't know anything about. Really, I'm just a listener at the end of the day. Okay, so we did the wall. We did the top, the sides, angles, but the bottom looks like a slipper, kind of. Doesn't have the shape of a boot. So we're going to stretch that out some. You could definitely dilute the brand, but it could also work to promote. Just has to make sense. Yeah, the only time I've seen what I've said happen was in The Sims, but they weren't actually singing because Sims have their own language. Like I could have sworn I've heard Michael McDonald in there, and I know they have an add-on to where one of those. It wasn't Taylor Swift. It was what was it? I can't remember, but there was a music artist that like partnered with that did like an add-on for Sims or whatever. I just don't remember who it was. It wasn't Taylor Swift. It was someone like her, not like her, but I guess I don't know. I need to look it up. I kind of want to look it up, but I can't right now. I don't know. Most artists just use songs that are already established in music. But if you had exclusive music for things and not just music that everyone already knows, I don't know. I honestly don't know. I'm just spitballing here at this point. I don't know, man. It just seems like why would I mean, yeah, the fans benefit, but why would you have all that music and not use it, right? I don't know. Usually after they die, you hear about the all the stuff that they made. Well, most of the time, I don't know. There's some artists that uh like the woman who's Ariana Grande did Final Fantasy. I did not know that. Which Final Fantasy? That's so weird. And I'm not even talking about like because normally they would do oh, okay, mobile one. All right, yeah, because normally they have. I don't know what happened. I don't know if I'm still live. I've been notified by OBS that I am not live, so if you can hear this, um, I'm waiting for confirmation here. Actually, okay, yeah, I don't know what the heck happened. Um, I can't even type in my own chat. I guess let me go to my phone real quick. Just reload. If you can hear me, reload. I don't know what the heck. Sometimes that happens. No idea why. Anyways, back to what I was saying. Yeah, Twitch be twitching. Nothing I can do about it. Anyways, because I'm pretty sure everything on my end is good. As long as my ISP doesn't reset the connection, my connection is fine. or there's a power outage or something. Anyways, yeah, like how Soldier Boy got famous. Like he just sold his music on like a music website. I don't even know which one it was. Well, in his case, it's a little bit different because he had his music like he would post like the name of a 50 Cent song, and when people bought it and downloaded it, it would be his song. So that's how he got famous, and people ended up liking it. But I think people just release mixtapes online, right? I know people still have it. Yeah, LimeWire. Yeah, 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 yeah. But I'm pretty sure people do mixtapes on online. It might not be physical copies unless they're like super local and only known locally. But I'm sure people still do mixtapes at least. But I don't know. I don't know everyone's history. I don't know their musical history here. Okay, like I don't know how Kendrick Lamar did it, and Drake already had fame from being on TV. So it's going to be different, case by case. No, I did not mention those two because of whatever the heck is going on. I had no idea. I don't know the specifics. I just know that they are beefing in some capacity. I don't regularly listen to either one of them, so I have no idea. I'm completely out of the loop on that one. But I know something is going on. All right, I know something is going on because literally everyone, even people who you don't expect to talk about it, are talking about it. That was the greatest beef of all time. Really, the greatest beef of all time. Wow. I only know bits and pieces of what's going on. I know that I guess Kendrick Lamar called him out. I don't know anything more than that. That was another case of do not get into rap beef with West Coast rap. Yeah, here we go again. They do that stuff for money though, man. It's not even anything real, and people were seeing that, and they were like, okay, well, this is working for them, so yeah, yeah. I feel like I don't know. Like I said, I don't know specifics, but from what bits and pieces of it I gathered, I guess Drake was rapping about stuff that he's really not into, right? And Kendrick called him out on it. Is that the gist of it? I don't know the specifics though. Why am I talking about this? See, I don't care about this stuff. But yeah, I'm just trying to get an understanding of what's going on. I don't know if this one is just about money. Kendrick hates Drake. Wow. Kendrick had a verse in 2013 calling out all of hip. I remember that. That I remember. That's how I found out about him. That's how I knew about him. Yeah, it was competitive. Drake took it personal, of course. You got all this money, and I guess the ego to match it, right? Man, if I was in their position, I wouldn't give a care about what people said about me. Man, what the heck? What am I people? Drake is probably more famous than Kendrick Lamar. It's like punching down. Like if I'm Dave Chappelle and uh let's see, Keenan Thompson said something. It's like, I mean, yeah, you're an established comedian, but you're not on Dave Chappelle's level. And I like Keenan Thompson. It's not a knock at him. I'm just saying there's tiers, right? If I was Dave Chappelle and Keenan Thompson said something about me, I wouldn't care at all. And Dave gets this regularly. There are comedians right now who are critical of Dave Chappelle, and he does not respond to them for a reason. Then 11 years of sneak. This is later. World War III happened. Kendrick is way more acclaimed than Drake. and sells similar numbers. Okay, all right, my bad. I'm sorry to all the Kendrick Lamar fans. I did not know. I thought, since you see Drake more, that maybe at least you think you see him more. It's because of that meme. I'm sure it's probably because of that meme. Kendrick releases way less. Yeah, he's on the right track. Quality over quantity. I would say. I appreciate that much more than and I like Lil Wayne, but there was a point where that was he was like he kind of flooded the market with his music, and it was like I'm like okay, that's enough. That's enough, all right. That's enough Lil Wayne for today. I know I've heard enough Lil Wayne to last me a while now. All right, but it's like that. 93 Lil Wayne mixtapes in '07. Oh my goodness. I believe it. I believe it. And you know what? I feel like that's an accurate number. Okay, now we have a more of a footprint here. Let me pull this side out some more. I just said a random number and it still feels low. Yeah, I mean, I feel like that's accurate. I don't know. Like I'm not gonna count them, but every time I turn around, I heard a new Lil Wayne song, and he had a lit mixtapes. And then of course, there were people who made sure that you heard them all. There was some people who were really into Lil Wayne. And there's nothing wrong with that, like I said. But there's a point where it's like, okay, I need to hear something else now. I'm done. I need a break. I need a break from the New Orleans, right? I've only been down there like 2 times, all right? Actually, not New Orleans. I'm sorry. I didn't mean to say that. But I've been in that area like 2 times. I've been in that state 2 times. Well, let's leave it at that. Uh, yeah. Trying to beef up the bottom here. I think I just need to let's try to let's go 1.5 like so. Got some dents, but we can fix that. Some dents happened. That is so weird. I rub here and down here gets it's like some weird anatomy. I don't know. It's okay. We'll just do this instead. Okay, that didn't do anything good. But yeah, I don't know. I have not yet been bored enough to find out what was going on there because I'm not. It's not something that interests me right now. Is what's going on. I just know that I'm hearing about it everywhere. I'm almost curious about it. Almost. That's only because I keep hearing about it. Yeah, that's okay. That's better. I just need to get rid of that lump. We smooth that out. Okay, we got a little bubble here. We can smooth it out. Smooth, feels great. There we go. Try not to talk too much about it because the rabbit hole goes deep. Oh wow. All right, now you're kind of making me want to see what the heck's going on. What the heck? And I don't want to get pulled back in a rabbit hole. Wow, man. So I'm guessing he called him out in 2013, right? He's one of the rappers. He's got to be right. I'm sorry. I don't mean to pull you in because I'm getting pulled in. I'm like, oh, what's going on? I'm like, uh. No, wait, don't. It was just something that how the heck did we even get on this? I don't even know. I was talking about Soldier Boy. Next thing we are talking about this. Oh yeah, I mentioned Drake being popular, and then I probably offhanded mentioned it, and then I thought that Drake was more popular than Kendrick Lamar because of all the memes, the Drake memes and things like that, and the TV show. But then you corrected me on that. Yeah, that's how we got there. That's how we got. I was just trying to backtrack here to see how what happened. How did we get on this subject? Because it happened during the disconnect. So yeah. So and now we're talking. I'm like don't really care about this stuff, and now I'm talking about it. Now I'm slowly getting interest. That's how it works, man. That's how the drama works, right? I just want to try to get rid of that dent there. Okay, we got to fill out the sole back here. And I got to make a heel. Drake has a song called First Person Shooter with J. Cole. What? What? Cole's line never refers to all three of them as the big three. Kendrick said no because he hates Drake for being made out of pillow meat. What? What? That is a diss. That is a diss. Let me tell you something. That is funny. Pillow meat. Wow. I have never heard the term before. I'm gonna start using that now. That is hilarious. Pillow meat. A few weeks later, Metro Boomin and Future song drops featuring Kendrick. Kendrick says, "MF the Big Three is just Big Me." Oh wow. Well, you guess you gotta flex, huh? Pillow meat. Drake being sensitive leaks a straight up diss track on Kendrick. No subliminals. Oh yeah, of course. I mean, I wouldn't even care about the big three line. That pillow meat line. That's pillow meat. I'm late to the party. That's still funny. Pillow meat. Hey, Eamu? Is that an L or an I? I forgot that. I don't know if I asked that before. I'm sorry. But hello. Good morning. How are you doing today? He just hated Drake for being Drake. Yeah. Oh, pillow meat was my line. Oh, that's hilarious. That is a hilarious line. It's made out of pillow meat. I love it. It's an L. You can call me Liam. Okay, Liam. Thank you. I'm pretty sure L's and I's look the same on Twitch's font. I get confused sometimes, and I do a lot of writing, and I have to sometimes I see that in the fonts. But hello, we are working on clothing, which I am not proficient at, so we're learning as we go. Basically, I don't know if you've seen the 3D art. Yes, I remember. Yes. This is the I don't know if you've seen the 3D mesh that I've been working on, but this is what I've been working on when I wasn't drawing. Um, I did this off stream and I was drawing while I was doing this. I basically just copy and pasting polygons throughout for the low poly. And now I'm doing clothes. Thank you, Liam. Thank you so much. This is for, I'm going to use this as reference for my webcomic that I'm working on. I've already wrote it. I got a whole volume written. One of the things that I've seen that were common with webcomics is people are writing them as they go, and they either write themselves into a corner or they just don't. They run out of steam. So I wanted to avoid that. So I took some time and just focused completely on the story. I don't even think I was drawing during that time. It took me about 3 years to write the webcomic, and um, yeah, it's pretty much done. I just edit it here and there, and now I'm working on designing the characters. This is the first one. This is the first character that appears in the story, and um, eventually, when I get about 7 of these people done, I'm gonna start doing pages. I think we will have an MGS union here. Hey, I'm okay with that. MGS, if you like MGS, you're okay in my book. We can all unite in our celebration of uh Metal Gear Solid. Big Boss, Solid Snake, whatever. Diamond Dogs, Fox Hound, all are welcome here. I want to see if that works. It does not. For some reason, it dents the bottom of that, so we're not going to do it that way. What we will do is we can inflate it. It's okay if there's some deformity in the boot in certain places. Like if this was happening at the top, we're gonna put creases on the top anyway. So, oh yeah, the reason I finished Tears of the Kingdom last night is because you were talking about Metal Gear Solid 3 and had the music going. Yeah, 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 yeah. Yeah, I was talking about how I was going to get um Delta, and I hope that they get 4. But if they don't, I got my PS3 back, so I can play 4 again. So at this point, we're just waiting and seeing what happens with that. But yeah, I am going to get the Master Collection. I just haven't yet. I haven't really been thinking about it too much. I'm right past the pain fight. I don't like that fight, but it's easy though, because I use the R2 reload for Mark 22. So as long as I have good aim, I can get him in the head a bunch of times and not to worry about anything. And then from there, just use the smoke, throw the smoke grenade onto the platform to disperse the bees, and then blast them. That's basically it. I guess a regular grenade could work too. That's how I beat him. Yeah, I mean, I just don't like that fight. It's annoying. It's just annoying. That's all. It's not like a criticism of the game, but that's not one of the boss fights that I enjoy doing. Even in New Game Plus, it's a little annoying. It's mainly just the bullet bees, to be honest, and the rest of it is just an accuracy check, basically. If you got good, do you have good accuracy? That's basically the boss fight. The best boss fight is skipping the end. I don't mind fighting the end. It's a very cat and mouse game. I like that kind of stuff. The first time I fought the end was it took me about 3 hours to beat him, but it wasn't bad overall. I Yeah, I found out recently that the end can sneak up on you, and um I had to remember. I think yeah, if you spend enough time in first person, he'll appear behind you and shoot you in the back of the head. And that happened to me on the first time I fought him. I didn't realize that because I didn't know where he was, so had no idea where he was. I was like, oh, he's behind me the whole time. Like I happened to come out of first person. I had the camera behind me. No, you know what I think it was? He said something, and then I said, huh? And I went out of first person, and I spun the camera around, and he's just like this. He's like this. I was like, oh no. He shot me. I was like, oh. I can't remember if I actually got caught by him. Maybe one time, maybe, and that may have been like the first time. But yeah, it was an interesting fight. It didn't take me too long. Oh well, I guess 3 hours is a long time to spend on a boss fight. He originally wanted it to take like weeks. Kojima, Hideo Kojima, he wanted that to, but I get that's another thing that they talked him out of. I like how he doesn't actually ever kill you. Yeah, that's the only saving grace. If he say like if you had a fight like that and he was actually trying to kill you and headshots mattered, that fight would be so much harder. Just imagine every time he has you in his sights and and you hear him say something like oh and you get shot in the head and you just die. That would be crazy. Like if it's quiet times 10, but every shot that quiet does kills you. Quiet's a little bit easier though because you can see her for the most part. That's like the biggest difference between quiet and the end. You can see quiet, and once you see quiet, you can mark quiet, and then from there, you can do whatever. Yeah, and I have cheesed her. Yes, just help her. Just help her out. She needs bullets too. Just give her a crate of bullets, like right on top of her. And so that is they. I don't know. Well, the game is not really a boss fight like game anyway, right? It has boss fights in it, but they're not. One, you run away from the guy, right? Another one is, of course, this. It's a sniper fight, but you don't have to fight her. I guess I don't know. Maybe they just didn't want to do the end again. I don't know why. I don't know what the reasoning is behind it. They never really. I don't think No one's ever really explained why they did that. And then you have Sahelanthropus. You don't fight Skullface, of course. You don't. Oh, you fight Liquid though. Yeah. Or Eli. You didn't know that was Liquid. I mean, I don't know what to tell you. I kind of like that fight though. You just beat up a kid. You beat up a kid who's like he's a hyper strong kid. He's trying to kill you. That's one kid you. I don't know. Well, I ain't gonna. You might want to think about that kid. Maybe not letting this kid go. But I think the boss was just more impressed by him than anything. Yeah, I do like the Eli fight. They're like I don't see those fights as real boss like real Metal Gear S boss fights, but those are the closest thing. It's not really like a boss fight. You don't expect bosses in that type of game for some reason. I think that's one thing. If one thing out of the Metal Gear Solid formula that should have been kept in that game is boss fights. They didn't really. They kind of it's kind of a departure from a lot of the things that Metal Gear is known for, but it's okay. I don't really mind it too much. Okay, I'm gonna accentuate this corner here. What I'm going to do instead is I'm gonna lower my radius and then do it again. And make sure we establish where the soul begins on this boot. It's more like a super normal enemy. MGS5 was the anti Metal Gear. Yeah, I mean, I don't know. I think he just wanted to. It seemed like he wanted to not do the things that I don't know what it is about. And I noticed this. Square Enix does this a lot too. Whenever there's a criticism about something, I feel like a lot of Japanese companies they make too great of of adjustments to remedy the criticism sometimes. Like if you criticize something that Square Enix did, they'll completely just go and they'll just take the scale and just jam it on the other side. And you're like, no, we don't. We didn't want you to completely nuke it. Okay. For instance, a lot of people complained about Metal Gear Solid 4's cutscenes, and yes, you do watch it more than you play it, unless you're speed running it, right? So what did they do for 5? There's almost no story whatsoever. Everything's done in the tapes. It's a little bit of an overcorrection. Okay, that is not what people were saying. And I think some of it is a translation error. I think things just get lost in translation. At least that's the only way I could like explain it or defend it. I don't think they maybe I don't know, maybe they just don't understand like where people are coming from when they say this, but it has to be, right? It has to be like a translation error or something. I don't know. I noticed that a lot. It's like you literally have a blueprint for how open world games are done over here. You want to do an open world game, so but the way he saw it was he didn't see it like as something to learn from. He looked at Grand Theft Auto 5 and he was like, "Oh no, my game doesn't have a chance." Like he was like instead of just taking what you can from a successful open world game and applying it to yours. They don't really do that stuff either. They are very I feel like they are stubborn in that way to where they just kind of like they just stick like to doing their own thing like very steadfast in that and not really absorbing what works over here at least. I feel like they might do like things that work in that culture more. Like that's why you have so many like isekais that are the same or they use the same premise or things like that, but they don't really do like what works over here, do they? At least I don't see it. But then again, I'm a super casual when it comes to like anime and things like that, so I don't know. I think it's because Japanese studios try to please Western audiences without understanding what Western audiences like about Japanese games. Yeah, I feel the same way. I feel the same way. I'm just gonna go around here. I don't mind. I know there's some people who are very critical about Metal Gear Solid 5, but I don't feel strongly about it. But yeah, I do wish that they had, you know, at least keep the story and keep a good story. And some people like it anyway, and that's great. I mean, like I said, I'm not taking anything away from the game. I do want to play it again because that's the only Metal Gear I played once, but I haven't played any Metal Gear game in a minute, so it's not like exclusive to that game or whatever. I do want to play it again. Yeah, if MGS5 had more story, it would be my favorite. Sometimes I get mad at Kojima sometimes because it's like, man, when the way he markets things, it's like, yes, I'm on board with this, and then I play the game. He's done this twice so far for me. I play the game, and it's not at all like I expected from when I saw the trailer. Like with Metal Gear Solid 4, he seemed like he was going in the route that he took Metal Gear Solid 5, how it's more darker, more serious Metal Gear. Um, that's how he marketed it for. Like I'm like, oh shoot, all right. Uh, Snake's old. His mission is just to kill Liquid. Like, oh, all right, he's just gonna go to Middle Eastern country, and kill, just straight up kill Liquid. All right, okay, this is his last mission, and then he just puts a gun in his mouth at the end of the trailer. I'm like, whoa, whoa, what is this? What kind of a story is this? I'm like, okay, I'm in. Wow, dang, Snake's just gonna this is it. This is the last mission. All right, and he had the damage on his face, so everyone's speculating, oh, that must be Fox died. It must be like deteriorating. Yeah, and then I played the game, and it's like they almost go there, but then they yoink you back. Like, oh no, Meryl drowned. Whoa, everybody's gonna die. Nope, nope, they revived her. Oh, all right. Oh shoot, Raiden got ran over by an Arsenal. He's dead. No, he's not. He's back with no arms, and he lives. All right. Okay, Meryl and Johnny are about to get killed by these frogs. No, they're not. Not only are they gonna win, they're gonna Mr. and Mrs. Smith their way out of it and then propose to each other in the most cringiest way possible. All right, no problem. Okay, well, I guess Snake is still gonna end it, right? No, he's not. No, he's not gonna. Not only is he not gonna end it, but you're gonna get a surprise visit from somebody who should be dead. All right. They pulled it's like they didn't want, and I know that I know the story behind that. I know the team convinced them to not do that because it was going to be his team was like, nah, don't do this stuff, and they often talk him out of things that he wants to do, which I guess for the most part it's probably the I guess in the end maybe it could be a better decision. I always describe four as the stupid one. Yeah, for all of Five's faults, it was Four's story that disappointed me the most. But I do like the gameplay. Four still, to me, has the best gameplay out of all of them. It's very fluid. You get all the stuff with it, even though you don't really have to use it. You got they probably put the most in the CQC than they normally would in compared to all the other games. You have the camouflage, which um kind of cuts out all the menuing, even though that's still in the game, but just in a different way. Now you got menuing for your weapons like you did in four, and there's like you have to press the button and you had to wait for it to pull up, and but at least you don't have to worry about camouflage. You could just touch a surface and boom, you're the surface now. I really like that. I know it's streamlined, and it kind of takes the thinking out of camouflaging, but I think that was a good addition to the system. And then you have the threat ring, which I definitely enjoy that. Instead of having a radar, you just look at the threat ring, and it's like a spidey sense. And yeah, like the camel was great. And then crouch walking, that's another one. So you're not just fully at attention, so where people can see you, you can at least crouch behind things and still move. That was cool. And I think they retroactively added that in one of the ports of Metal Gear Solid 3. So that's definitely something that if they ever make a new one, which I guess, technically they are, they'll probably incorporate that into all of the future installments. Um, Let me see. I'm trying to think of what else I like about four. I do like the four has a lot of weapons too. So I mean, I don't know if there is a legitimate reason to use one weapon over the other unless you're like fighting a boss. You want to use the highest damaging ones, of course, but the options there. If you want to use a specific pistol over another, you can. But the thing is about that is they kind of undo that because when you're in certain cutscenes, they put the operator back in your menu when so it kind of is like detrimental to that. Like say like if you want to use I don't even remember any of the pistols. I guess one of Meryl's pistols, the Big Desert Eagle. If you want to use that pistol, but the game is going to keep equipping the M the was it the 1911 or the M4. So it's kind of like it kind of works against that. If they had found a way to render the cutscenes with whatever weapon you had in your inventory, that would have been a huge improvement. But they didn't do it for whatever reason. It could be a time constraint, it could be a technical limitation. Maybe they just didn't mocap with something that you can interchange. I don't know, but that would have been a significant improvement. That's something they should look at in the future if they ever do another Metal Gear game. It's just to render the cutscenes with whatever weapon you have in your inventory. Just pick whichever, or just whatever you had last at the very least, instead of just going, okay, 1911 M4, even though you're not using any of that stuff. And then you got to go, and as soon as the boss fight starts, you got to go back into your menu, get your weapons, take those weapons out, and then put them back in. And it kind of like takes you out of it a little bit. That's one criticism of the gameplay for Metal Gear Solid 4 that I have. That's probably the biggest one, to be honest, or at least give you what you had before the cuts. Yeah, yeah, it's something. That's the probably the biggest gameplay criticism I have for Metal Gear Solid 4. I don't know the ins and outs of every game. I know there's at least one streamer right now that can tell you everything about every game, everything that's possible, and it's very insightful. And he can reproduce all the glitches and whatever things are wrong and tell you why this is, what's wrong with the game and whatnot. And that's very insightful. But I don't know how to do any of that stuff, so it's like the problems that that person would have with the game is not something that would affect me because I don't know how to do that. I just play the game. Yeah, it's I'm trying to think like, yeah, this that's really it. Really, to be honest, I don't think there's anything gameplay wise that really stuck out to me in Metal Gear Solid 4. It's bad. It might be well, no, that's not really a big deal either. I was gonna say it might be a little more difficult because you have people, people are fighting and you got people everywhere and you don't know if they because when they are engaged in a conflict with another NPC, it kind of increases your camo index in a way. Like they don't really notice you as much when they're fighting another NPC. But some if they're not fighting an NPC and they happen to be looking in the in your direction while you're like on the other side of the map running, you don't know because the threat ring picks up everything. So I mean, but that's not really a big deal to me. You can take your time and just crawl through the whole thing and you'll be good. So I don't know. Now I wish I could play replay 4. That's the one I played the least, only 3 or 4 times. Yeah, I played online. I played the new game multiple times. That could be the one that well, I don't know. Maybe I still played 2 and 3 more than 4, but um, and I don't have my data anymore, so I don't know. I had because I don't have, I just don't have the data on my PlayStation anymore. I'd have to re-get all that stuff again. But yeah, I can't put a number to it. I don't know which ones I've played the most. I just know I can tell you which ones I played the least. Portable Ops, Peace Walker, and 5 are the ones I played the least. Ground Zeroes, on the other hand, I beat that a bunch of times. I played that way more than Phantom Pain, but that's only because everything was very condensed in one area and it was easier to do everything. And I was waiting for 5, so I kept playing it for a bit. But yeah, 5, yeah, I only played one time. It's a very spread out game. There's a lot of you know, it's if you aren't speed running it, there's a and you want to just do more in the resources and the waiting and all that. It it kind of draws it out a little bit more. So I only played that like once. My best time was like 7 minutes. I probably beat Ground Zeroes close to 100 times. Oh yeah. Oh man. I don't have my data, so I don't know. I don't know if I beat it that fast, but um, it was definitely pretty fast. I mean, once you know where everything is, you don't have to listen to the tape. You got all the collectibles already. You know where the prisoner is. I think probably just because I like completion so much. I think even on my fastest, I rescued all the prisoners just because I'm in the mode, I'm in the zone of playing. I'm like, well, I'm not gonna leave these guys here to be tortured to death. I gotta get them out. So even yeah, probably on my fastest, I still extracted the prisoner, and that takes some time. So yeah, I don't know if I ever left them behind. That's normally how I play it. I try to like kidnap everyone, except for when I'm okay. I'm yeah. Now I can see their rank. I'm not gonna get this guy because I already have like once I get S's. Once I start getting S's and Phantom Pain, and I see a bee, I'm like, okay, that guy's staying here. Get that. I rescued every single person on the ground zero map just in case they did something. Ah, I did that too. Yep. And then I got the Phantom Pain and half them people, Glads and Politz. I'm like, oh, man, I'm not keeping these guys anymore. I thought these guys are gonna mean something. No, they don't mean anything. I got a guy right now that well, I'm saying I'm speaking in the context of this scenario. I got a guy right now that's way better than Glads and Politz, so I'm just gonna get rid of them. They're taking up space. So yeah, it's definitely it was definitely they weren't needed. They were definitely a waste of time. I thought those guys like all those people were going to have some kind of the way they were speaking like, oh man, are these guys going to have something to do with the story? They're going to help me, I don't know, do whatever I need to do. But no, they really didn't mean anything in the end. Oh well, they were all trash except for the ones you knew were special. Yeah. Uh, Hideo himself. I don't know if I. Well, of course, I might have just kept him because it's Hideo. Why would you? I don't think you can. You even fire him? I don't even know. Can you kill him? Will they let you kill him? I don't know. But he has some S stats, so I guess he was worth keeping in some capacity. I honestly don't remember. I don't even know if I have that. No, I don't have that data. I don't have that data because I played that on console as well. So oh yeah, I think I played that. Yeah, I played that on PS4 instead of 3. So yeah, that was another game that I played on PS4. Probably the yeah. Only yeah, no, I played let's see. Dark Souls 3. No, I played it on PS3. I don't remember anymore, to be honest. I don't play my consoles very much these days, so I kind of don't remember. But I definitely played Phantom Pain on PS4. Okay, I guess we are okay. I'm gonna go back to beefing up the bottom here. I'm gonna put in a heal. I don't know if you can kill him. Yeah, I'm not sure. Actually, you know what? I am sure you can at least shoot him because I've seen people with memes of him doing that. People have like alerts. The guy that I mentioned, Outer Heaven, he has like an alert on his channel where he's kicking Hideo Kojima while he's on the ground the entire time. And I've seen people like actually kill him, so I don't know. I guess you could kill him if you want. Yeah, yeah, yeah. There's some people out there who really don't like Metal Gear Solid 5, so and he is one of them. But he knows everything about it and he plays it often, so I mean, make of that what you will. If I did something that much, I wouldn't play it at all. Okay, what I'm going to do is, yeah, I'm going to do that, and then I'm going to use the draw sharp tool. Let me go down here. But yeah, I'm due for another playthrough for 5. Do you know this? They have do they have I heard they had some things that you need like all of the mother based platforms to get, and some of them you have to purchase. They added some stuff to the game since launch that um you need like all the platforms for to research. Is that true? Because all my I lost all my data on my PS3 and I didn't have all the platforms. I had like I think I've got like one extra platform. So I was like, why not? But oh, there's probably like at least 2 times as many guns now. Oh, okay, yeah, yeah. I played it. Let's see, it came out in September of 2015. I played it all the way up until Fallout 4 came, because Fallout 4 came out about a month after Metal Gear Solid, I think. You need all the platforms. Oh, okay. Um, yeah, I played it up until Fallout 4 came out, and then I just played that. I was pretty much done with the game once Fallout 4 came out, so I just never went back. All right, so now we got to square up the back. Actually, you know what? We don't have to square up the back. We can just push up the heel until it's square because it already has a corner. I can't imagine trying to grind Metal Gear Solid 5 now. Yeah, I don't know. I'm not looking forward to that because that was a lot of time. I remember trying to get all those shipping containers full of supplies, and then you have to go and defend it on the fob mode. And there's way more cheaters on PC than there were on PlayStation. So there's that. They can just take all your stuff, and people that are like so good at the game that they're going to kill all of your people in your base, steal your stuff, and you just gotta hold that. And they could be cheating. So I don't know. I might have to get a mod to play it offline because I don't want to deal with that. And you know what I can do? I can push up this part of the heel as well because there should be a bit of an arch here. Getting resources for the late stuff will take forever without online. LOL, I was the second person. Yeah, it wasn't as bad when the game was new. You still had a shot at defending your stuff, and the people weren't as good. But I've seen people like Bar Boss. There's a guy named Boss on Twitch. Okay, that's his. Oh, not on Twitch, on YouTube. That's his channel name. Bar Boss. Probably his in-game name too. He still plays Fob to this. Well, I don't know about to this day, but up until recently, a few years ago, he was still releasing videos of that. And the amount of cheaters he comes across is worrying, very worrying. I was a monster online. Yeah, I played. I didn't like Bob that much, like, but I did play Metal Gear, regular Metal Gear Online enough. I had enough skill to enjoy it, but I didn't really get into it like I did with Metal Gear Online 2 and 1. Metal Gear Online 3 was there was a lot of glitches with ladders that you could do. And the box skills were they went they if you thought box skills were annoying in Metal Gear Online 2, they leaned into it on 3. They said, oh, you don't like boss skills? Okay, well, here's some more box skills. And now you can slide, and dive out the box, kill somebody, like dolphin dive back in the box. It's like crazy stuff. It's like it is amusing, but I don't want to play against that. Like it kind of cheapens it a little bit. But yeah, I did play it for a little bit. PCs Online was always messed up. They had like 20 times the nukes of all consoles combined. Yeah. Um, they had some hackers that delved into that, and they were saying that, yeah, disarming all the nukes was made impossible by Konami because Konami knew that they knew the amount of nukes that existed, and some of them were phantom nukes, like they did not exist at all in the game. Meaning you could never disarm them, meaning you could never reach the extra cutscene for disarming all the nukes. And it's very disappointing. Like, I guess they did it so people would keep playing it, but they actually made it impossible to do. Like they had to they had to hack to get all the nukes out, and they were like, hey, Konami, we got all the nukes. And then Konami's like, oh yeah, let me check. And he's like, nah, y'all ain't, nah, there ain't something right here. And they were yeah. And then they figured it out. That's how they figured it out. Like, they were like, oh, okay, some of these nukes aren't listed, but they had a way to get rid of them anyway. And Konami was like, nah, that's not legitimate. So yeah, it's very disappointing. I think the cutscene unlocked by accident for some people at one point. I think it was after an update or something. I wasn't playing it at the time, so I didn't get the cutscene, but I did see it on YouTube. I had a chance to get a nuke, but I didn't know what the nuke looked like. I've snuck into someone's base. They did not know nothing. All right, and I walked right by the nuke, and I forgot what I did. I was taking it everything else that he had is what I was doing. Yeah, then they flipped the switch to the console. Yeah, yeah, it was so much, man. It was like they there was like this big article that they did on it. That the game was rigged. It was all rigged. It's not really important for me. People only did it because they thought that it would unlock chapter 3, and since there was no chapter 3, it was kind of moot anyway. That would be funny if they put that behind a like a you got to play online to unlock the rest of the game. It's not easy because some people are very good at the game, especially if they find out you're in their base and they're playing at the same time. They're coming. They're coming to stop you, and they probably can stop you. But I was at least good enough to sneak into people's bases and take their soldiers and their resources and get out unseen. It's just the one time I did it for a base that had a nuke, I didn't know about I didn't see the nuke. But I walked right by it, and I was like, and then I was like, wait, that base had a nuke, and then I had to look up and see what the nuke looked like. And I was like, oh man, I walked right by it. I just didn't know what to look for. I wasn't even looking for a nuke. I was like, okay, I'm in this base. I'm stealing his resources, his soldiers, and then I just got out of there and I didn't see the nuke, and I walked right by it. And I was like, damn, that's what the nuke looks like. I screwed up. I done goofed. But yeah, when I was playing, I wasn't really I didn't contribute anything to the nuke disarmament, but I would have if I had known what they looked like. Who knows how many nukes I walked by? That would be most coaching coaching shit numbers. Oh yeah, nuke stealing was very heavy in favor of the invader if you knew what you were doing. I got about 15 or so nukes. I was in deep. Yeah, I did not know what they looked like. I don't know how many nukes I walked by. I was looking for resources. I was like, man, I'm getting these resources. I'm getting them diamonds. All right, I'm getting them and I'm getting out. And then I saw some of their soldiers. I was like, oh, you got some S's, huh? I'm taking them, taking them, I'm taking them S's. I'm taking them. If I had known, I would have definitely stolen the nukes too. I avoided that because they were like, okay, if you make a nuke, you're just maximum demon now. You're maximum demon now. And I was like, well, I'm playing a hero. I don't want to be a demon. I'm playing heroic. So I kind of didn't really pay attention to that until it was too late. I was like, oh, I can just disarm them. I'm pretty sure they tell you. I just don't remember. But yeah, somebody took it on. Somebody took on the responsibility. It was just futile. There was a whole war going on between two factions. Oh wow. Yeah, that's what I guess that's. I mean, I don't. I don't. I guess people just like doing chaotic stuff, right? They always say I hate quoting this movie because everyone does it. Some people just want to watch the world burn. People really need to stop quoting that movie. But yeah, I mean, it's not. They're not wrong. There's a lot of people out there that just they don't they just want to do the opposite of what everyone is trying to do in a game. I don't know why you want to keep the nukes in. There's no reason to do so. They were just trying to stop you. Like we had a list of every single nuke hoarder. Then there were betrayals. It was a lot. Oh yeah, yeah, that was all in the article. Yeah, yeah, it was so much stuff, man. I was like, wow. I was like, man, I guess I missed out, kind of. I need to pull this out. You know what I need to do? I need to stretch this down. I need to stretch the heel down. This part of the boot and this part of the boot needs to touch the ground. It all played out. on R never be game over. Yeah, yeah, that rings a bell. Yeah, never be game over. Pull this boot down some. Pull these heels. Yeah, yeah, it was very interesting read. I was like, man, I would have participated in this if I was playing still, but I found out about it after it was all over, so I missed out. If they should have given something for making a nuke as well, that would have made it worthwhile. I don't even remember what the perks were for making a nuke in the first place, because all it seemed to do was just invite trouble, right? I'm sure there's a reason, but maybe there isn't. I just remember having the option to make a nuke, and I was like, well, no, I don't want. I'm playing heroic, so I didn't do it. Just didn't do it. I forgot what the nuke did. Yeah, me too. I think it did something. I just don't remember what it was. We were saying it was like a deterrent of some kind, but it opens you up to being invaded more or something like that. But it did something in return. I just don't remember what the heck it was. Something happened. I don't know. Let me see if I can just try to force a corner here. Okay. So like it might have extended the time or yeah, something. I don't remember. It definitely did something. I just don't remember. I just remember my thinking at the time that it wasn't worth it, but I don't remember why. Okay, now we can either push this up or pull that down. I think I'm gonna try to push it up some because it's a little lumpy. It's got doughy boots. uh, we still have to thicken them so we can carve in some design here. It's a huge grind to get one. Yeah, it was a lot of what was it called? GMP? It was a lot of GMP. I remember that much about it. And I was like, and you know, I played single player so much that fob started to get annoying because they would always, you know, you would get the warnings, the flashing, like, oh man, sorry, boss, somebody's in the base. And I'm like, oh, okay, I gotta stop playing what I want to play, come back to the base and defend it against some Yahoo. All right, gotta come back to the base, and sometimes it didn't work out too well for me. I remember there was this one guy I was fighting. He was very good at the game. I was like, dang, I'm fighting the real boss here. And he would not come out. He would not come out of his little hidey hole. Okay, he was hiding from me. I was like, man, I knew where he was. He was like, he stayed at the top, and he had a good vantage point on me. I'm like, man, why don't you come down and fight? Because if you'd have came to me, I would have just ate him alive. But he didn't. He was hiding and sniping me and stuff. And I was like, oh man, what is this? But sometimes that didn't work. But this guy knew what he was doing. I felt bad for people I invaded if they showed up. I don't remember what I was doing. I had the big battle suit, you know, the big thick armor battle suit. I remember that much. Um, some kind of grenade launcher. What was it called? Fakel, something like that. I had a Fakel on me and some tranks. I'm trying to remember the extra stuff too. Was it grenade? Something? It might have been the sleep mines. I know I used that for defense. If I could, you can repeat CQC them for a bunch of something. Oh yeah, yeah. I definitely did not do that. Like I didn't play it a lot, because I was like, man, I want to play the story, so I kind of avoided playing it. But when I did play it, um, there were some people that were really good, but other people I could take out. You know, once you faulting them out, basically win. It was just annoying when you're playing the story for the first time and you keep getting interrupted by online. I wish they did not do it that way, but it is what it is. I dealt with it. I dealt with it in the best way that I could. I've always go lethal on their soldiers. Yeah, that was very annoying when people would break into my base and then just start killing all of my men and women. And I'm like, oh, okay, I'm fighting freaking man on fire here, or I'm doing something important and I can't just leave. So it's like, all right. Basically, there was one time where I had to let them do it for whatever reason because there was something was going on. I was doing something in the story, and the freaking alarm went off, and I'm like, oh, I can't go right now. I can't go right this second. And then just I'm just seeing soldier dead, soldier dead. So I'm like, oh crap. Yeah, it would yeah. Sometimes I couldn't always go, or if like I was AFK or something, like I'm in the kitchen making something, and I come back and I see all these people are dead, resources gone. I'm like, man, I got okay. I guess I gotta. That just extends the grind. It's very annoying. It was very annoying sometimes that mode was. 'Cause now I gotta get all that stuff back. I gotta retaliate and try to get my stuff back, and you might not be able to, but yeah, yeah. I think on the second playthrough, I'm going to get the mod that allows you to play without being invaded. Like it somehow blocks the evasion. I don't know. I remember hearing about that, but I was on when I was playing on PlayStation, so it was kind of impossible for me to use that. But yeah, like I said, I gotta see if there's something I need to do online, then I might just deal with it. Try to beat this up a little bit. I don't think you'll get invaded now. Yeah, that's like two people left. Not sure who plays now, but yeah, I doubt there's a lot of people playing, if at all. And the funny thing was, it was cross-platform. I think, yeah, I'm pretty sure it was cross-platform, wasn't it? So you can get invaded by like console and PC or something like that. Was that a thing? I don't know. I don't remember if it was cross-platform like that. I have to pull down the heel. Nah, it wasn't cross-platform. Okay. Yeah, you're right. You're right. You're right. Because the nukes. I was thinking back to the article. They all had their own lists of nukes. That's right. Yeah. I don't know why I thought that for some reason. Must be confusing that with another game. Okay, I want to straighten out that part and then bring all of the heel down. Got to make sure that you're not pushing up too much of the shoe here because I don't want his feet to blast through the boots. But let me try, okay, to. I want to make the radius here only as big as the heel and then just pull the heel down. I need to pull it this I need to pull it so that this plane is on the same these this heel of the boot and then the crown are the only two things that are going to touch the ground. All this is actually off the ground. You probably slip a finger or two underneath of that part, and then the toes are raised, as we were discussing yesterday, uh, for ergonomics. Well, I'm gonna have to do a sneaker one day. I wonder how easy that'll be compared to a boot. I didn't have too much trouble with this though. Getting the basic shape down was actually not that bad for a beginner, for a first timer. I would say. I don't know. I'm kind of satisfied with it. I just need to, you know, get in all the details up here, but and oh down there. Oh, look what we got here. Got to make sure the feet stay in the boot. Just pull down the heel some here, and then we have to flatten it. I want to pull it down so I have enough room to work with, and then I can flatten it a little bit. Raise that up, pull that down, and make sure the feet are good. The feet are good. Yeah, Metal Gear, very interesting. Very interesting how things turned out, you know. There was a time when I was like, oh well, all right, well, maybe it should end, but if there was a way they can keep it going without like turning them into cash cows like they did with Survive, I guess. I hope they find a way. I'm not sure how I'm indifferent to remakes, but if they managed to make like an original story, I'd be down with that. It was good. I mean, they kind of technically already did that with Raiden, right? Like if they if you took Snake out of it, like if you took the Tanker chapter out of it, that's basically a new Metal Gear right there with a new character. I know some people were like not into that, but I did not mind it. I actually like human Raiden more than I like cyborg Raiden. Some people don't believe that, even though that's my opinion. But he has a complete arc, right? He has a complete arc. He's basically a good little soldier, and then he goes through the character change of getting screwed over, and then not denying his past anymore, and accepting his role in the story, and becoming better at the end, better everything, really, better person, better spouse, better soldier. He has a complete, yeah, he has a complete character arc. Yeah, yeah. Some people, but people still hate that guy. They like it. They just like the cool stuff. That's usually the path to something sucking. When you just focus on the cool things, and I don't know. But I like Human Writing. I thought he was pretty. I thought he was a pretty good character. I didn't mind Jack and Rose. I mean, she was written basically to be annoying, but I didn't find her annoying. Even though I think there's better times to bring up an anniversary, and not during a life or death situation, but in a way it keeps Raiden grounded, right? He knows that he has something to. I mean, not that he needed to be reminded of the stakes, right? But I don't know. I don't know what I'm saying in regards to that. I didn't find her that annoying. It wasn't like kill this woman annoying, but yeah, there are better times to bring up personal things. It's a time and a place. Probably wasn't the best time in the world to remind Raiden. I think people just missed Mei Ling. Yeah, probably. You're probably right. That's really the only thing that Metal Gear Solid could have used, like a bigger support team, right? You get two more people like towards the end of the game, which is of course Snake and Otacon, right? There's no Nastasha. There's no McDonald Miller. There's not enough people on the team. You lose one guy. You lose two people basically, right? You lose Stillman. Stillman is not. That's like a quarter of the game, right? He's gone now. You lost the guy because he's in there with you. But yeah, it feels a very solitary game. I would say. You know, you feel kind of isolated in a way. You just have two people who aren't even real at the end, and then you have like one person who is not always available to talk to, and yeah, it's very weird how they did the codec compared to the other games. The other games that you got a full support team, they're always there. In Metal Gear Solid 3's case, there's only one time when everyone's unavailable, and it's kind of like no duh, right? When you're fighting the sorrow. But yeah, you know, you feel like you have a, a resource of information constant. Oh, Rose was real up until she wasn't. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Colonel was never real. Rose was then gets kidnapped. Yeah, you're right. You're right. But yeah, I didn't mind. I didn't mind Rose. I thought the voice actress did a good job. When she pretty much gets sidelined in four, but um, yeah, I don't mind Rose too much. I guess in a way, everyone gets sidelined in four. And you only in four you only get Otacon, right? That's it. You get you get Otacon and you get Rose. That's they kept it down to two instead of like the full. You know, you're usually talking to Meryl. Meryl is in almost every act except I don't think she's in two. But you got Drebin. You don't talk to him though. You got you got the Colonel. Colonel's not there really. You have some codec calls, but he's not there, right? I think I'm remembering that correctly. I don't think you talk to the Colonel. It's just Otacon. And then you got you have Meryl. You have Raiden like appears very briefly in the codex. It's literally just Otacon and Rose. I don't even remember using the codec in four. Yeah, yeah, you can. I don't think I would. I don't remember using it like outside of the times where they make you go into the call. I actually don't remember. Maybe I did that just to see what Rose would say. With you know, with the whole psychology thing, like the effect of combat, the combat stress mechanic that you really ignore. Honestly, it really doesn't play into anything at all if you play a certain way, right? You know, it only matters if you just try to mow everyone down, and even then, what you just puke and that's it, and you hear Liquid's voice. I think it only really goes up when you're like sitting in the sun, and it doesn't really matter, to be honest, because you can just sit in the barrel and it'll go down. I don't know how it would go down. I feel like if I hid in a metal barrel in jungle weather, that I would just cook myself alive. I haven't been in the jungle, but I've been in a palm grove, and it's very hot. It's very hot. When there's any kind of canopy above you in above 100-degree weather, it is extremely hot. Extremely. You're like in an oven, okay? I can't imagine what it's like in a jungle. It's probably the same way, and then it feels like you're just being strangled by the freaking heat. Not to mention all the stuff you got on. So I mean, I yeah, man. Now I'm gonna hide in the barrel. My stress is gonna go down. Yeah, right. I tell you what's gonna go up: the temperature. My chance of dying inside that barrel is gonna go up too. So I don't know how that works, but you know, in the game you can hide in the barrel and your stress will go down. As they treat it as shade, even though it's metal. I think you can hide in the shade and the barrel, but still, it's still hot as hell out there. Man. I don't know, man. I don't know if that would actually work, but it can in the game. So He's probably smoking in the barrel. Yeah. Oh man. Yeah. If you're a smoker, nothing's gonna stop you from smoking. Nothing. That's just the way it is. I don't smoke, but I've seen a lot of people. I've been around a lot of people who smoke. I have smokers in my family. There's nothing. Nicotine is it's the real deal when it comes to addiction, man. It's hard to drop. You can't just stop smoking. And I only know that through observation because, like I said, I don't smoke. But uh, yeah, got a little bit of you have to make it a little bit even, but we got something here. We got something. I think I need to push this up instead of down though, and it would help to look at it straight on, right? Let's see, we're working through it. We're working through it. You're not gonna see that because this will be on the ground, but I don't mind a little deformity because this guy he doesn't have brand new boots on. They're going to be worn a little bit. So, and like if you drag your feet and you wear these boots or any kind of boot, really, the first thing that's going to go is this heel. It's going to get all like it's going to have like a slant in the heel from dragging your feet, and then there's going to be various wear spots in the front and whatnot. But uh, just for the sake of accuracy, we're going to try to make it look like the an actual boot that hasn't been worn so much on the bottom. And then we can just probably put some creases on the top here. And then there's going to be some folds, almost like clothing on the side. We're still doing the basic shapes though. So we're going to see if we can get that going. But yeah, they're turning out pretty well so far, I think. I just got to smooth these edges out. They're a little bumpy, but that will slowly go away the more I remesh it. Speaking of, let me save this right now. We're getting towards the end here of the stream, but we are going to go for just a little bit longer, and then we'll pick this up tomorrow. So I'm just slowly bringing down the heel and trying to evening out a little bit more. But yeah, the combat stress I felt like was not a very utilized thing. I think only on the when you don't really know the game that well and you're playing it for the first time. That's really the only time where I felt like combat stress made a difference in anything. The only time that honestly it made a difference was when the game itself like forced it on you, like when Snake had to do all the injections with the little nanomachine shot. I wonder if it's a bigger factor on extreme. Um, it does go up pretty fast because I normally once I got to extreme because when you first played on the first playthrough you only can go up to hard and then you unlock extreme after and then you can play on extreme. So every game after that it's you can play on extreme. After the first one you can play on extreme, and I remember it being it does go up pretty fast, but it's not like I mean all it really did when you went up the combat stress. I think it just affects your it does it affect your aim. I don't even remember what it does, to be honest. I just know that if it stays high long enough that you'll start like um it'll start affecting your gameplay a little bit. I do remember trying to keep it down. I just don't remember why, to be honest. But it's like once you know what to do, it's like you it doesn't really matter. Like I can't even think of outside of the first two. Well, not even the first act, to be honest. It's really only the second act when I feel like the combat stress made a difference because it's so hot and the heat affects your stress level. There was something that lowered it too, besides the shot. I never actually used the shot that he was using in the story because it boosts it for a while, and then you kind of have like a crash effect. I think that's what Otacon was saying anyway. So I was like, okay, I'm not going to use that because I've never really at that by that point I never really even in my first playthrough I never really um had a problem with the combat stress, so I never used that shot. Once you know what to do, most things that aren't directly in front of you don't really matter. Yeah, basically, yeah, yeah. I think yeah, it doesn't affect. I'm pretty sure it just affects your aim, and he'll stop more often. Like, but I think if you just crouch walk long enough, he'll start getting the back problems. But you can just compress that. Except thermal goggles. Thermal goggles. Man, never. I played entire acts with the thermal goggles on. Sometimes it's just easier. Like if like you said, if everything's in front of you, you can see everything. So it's like sometimes I played with, I don't avoid enemies like I should. Like if I see somebody in the way, I'll just take them out and then keep going. You can do a speed run like that too. So I mean, well, one day, like if I ever get really, if I ever decide to do a speed run, you pretty much have to avoid like as many people as possible because that's much faster. I remember avoiding people in Act One when you it's the one section where you have the statues where the statues are outside and you have the soldiers in the alleyway right before you meet Otacon's Mark II. I avoided those people on extreme because it was very hard to interact with those soldiers. But I saw a Japanese player. What he would do is he would go into the alleyway and he would stand far enough away to where you could shoot a gun behind the soldier the bullet would pass the soldier's head and hit the wall in front of him and the soldier would only focus on the ricochet instead of the gun that shot behind him and you're like at least 20 feet back so he doesn't for some reason he just doesn't turn around. He only if you shoot the wall he'll only look at the wall and then you can use that to get past him faster. I did that. I don't know if people do that now. I don't know how optimal that is because it's been a while since I've seen a Metal Gear Solid 4 stream from start to finish. Um, I know there's at least one person. I think his name is Joseph Joestar. He named himself after the anime character. He's been doing Metal Gear Solid 4 streams lately, but I haven't been really watching them from start to finish. So I don't know if that's still a viable strategy, but that was one that I incorporated in my regular playthrough. I spent most of my playthroughs when I went for the highest big boss rank. That was like the closest that I've come to speed running. I did most of those runs just like crawling, just so I wouldn't get spotted. I didn't do a lot of running out in the open because I didn't know all the positions. I didn't know when all the guards were going to turn around and with like all their patrol routes or whatever. So I just stayed on the ground in case somebody just decided around the corner and I forgot about that guy. I'm already on the ground and I can just hit him with the trank. But that one alleyway past the statues was like probably one of the few points in the game where I would try to run through and I would use three run strats for that because that was like the hardest part for me to go through and not get spotted. So I was like, okay, let me just get past this, and then once I get to the alleyway where there's a team, there's a team that crosses the road right before you meet Otacon, and I would do that part on the ground because sometimes it was a little inconsistent. So especially if you have a caution already, I would consistently speedrun myself right past thermal goggles in every single MGS. Yeah, thermal goggles are. I That's how I beat the. I play with thermal goggles for the end because that's another fight where I did not memorize like all of his spots. So if I had the thermal goggles on all the time, I normally see his tracks like where he's going. Besides the first screen where we start off in front of that little storage area, he's always in the same spot there. So once you shoot him three times there, or you pop his parrot, I think you can get some extra shots for that or something like that. I don't remember. But you shoot him there, and then when he runs from that scene is when you can start following his footsteps. So I just do that, and then from there it's just a matter of like, oh, he's over here, he's gonna run over here, or he's either over here or over here, and then if I see his footprints, and I'll know exactly which spot he's in. I know speedrunners, they know they plan it to where he's always in the same spots, so they can do it the same way. I don't know the spots well enough to do that, but um, one day I'm gonna learn that run though. One day I'm gonna learn the speed running routes and just do it because it seems pretty consistent, especially for three. Like the fear. Um, what I did was I would just throw poison food everywhere and have him eat that. But apparently you can just use the fake death pill, and he'll come down, walk up to you. You use the fake death pill in front of the spike, the log spike trap. He'll come down. He'll be like, oh, he's dead, and then you pop back up, use a stun grenade, and depending on if it's new game plus, you basically just use the Patriot or the AK and just gun him down while he's stunned, or you activate the trap if it's not new game plus, and the trap will just kill him by swinging back and forth. And it's like a 10-second fight, maybe 10-20 second fight. I was like, wow, okay. It's probably one of the fastest fights. I think they always all the speedrunners that I watch, they always say that the Fury is the hardest one to do. He's the only one that can end the runs. I believe it because he is annoying, even for a regular run. Especially if you're not playing New Game Plus because you don't have the Fury camo, which like negates burning. So you have to use like a cardboard box or something like that. But yeah, I think the fear is the one you can cheese the easiest. I never really minded that fight. It's just all the tree jumping is annoying, and that's why I always poison him. So if I poison him, he's like, you can get him pretty fast there too. But it's way when you use a speed run strats, it's literally like the quickest fight in the game probably. The Fury is one of those bosses that's totally different from below normal and above normal. Yeah, yeah. I never played it on easy, so I never got to use like the easy gun or anything like that. But so I don't know how the Fury is in that. I think when I first played it, normally when I play Metal Gear, I just started on hard, or if extreme is there, then I'll do it on extreme. But yeah, I don't know how he is in the lower difficulties, but he is annoying. I mostly replay MGS3 on easy. Yeah, a lot of people do. They always people recommend to do speed runs on the lower difficulties, but there are like different strats, for every thing. I haven't played on easy since like Metal Gear Solid One, I think, and I think Metal Gear Solid Two. When I first played that, I think I just played it on normal. I don't remember playing it on. No, you know what? I played it on every difficulty because I remember getting all the dog tags for each difficulty. I think you get something for doing that, and I decided to do that just for completion. Metal Gear Solid Two is probably the one of the games that I played on every difficulty and beat it just for completion's sake. So it's probably two is probably the one I played the most. I think most likely MGS 2 and 3 I would play on easy. Yeah, it's yeah, every difficulty has its own set of dog tags, and I remember getting them all. So I definitely did on that. And I think I've played Metal Gear Solid 1 on every difficulty too, but I don't remember. You have to do all the difficulties on 2 for the infinite bandana, wig, stealth. Yeah, I had all that stuff, so yeah, I definitely did it. 2, it's easy to get into a rhythm. You got it's I don't know. It just feels like it's very it's very phasey. It has like phases. Like okay, you got the tanker, and then you got let's see, what's the first boss for Raiden? Is that Fortune, right? And then you got the bomb disposal. That's like its own thing. That's like a good chunk of the game. But once you pass it, it's like you're super far in the game. It's like it feels feels weird. I don't want to check the notes. Doing it. It's exactly why I default to easy now. Yeah, it's like you can easily like break two into sections. It's like, okay, now we're on the bomb disposal. Okay, now we got to escort ammo. That's like its whole. That's like a whole section, and then arsenal gear, and then it's like it's very easy to break it down into sections. I guess the other ones you kind of classify them from just going from boss to boss. It doesn't feel the same way, like because it's all mostly jungle, right? You have the jungle, and then you have the mountain, and then you have Grad. I guess you could do it that way, but that's very these are very spread out areas, right? If you kind of classify them that way. So I don't know. I don't see it the same way as Metal Gear Solid 2. It's a very segmented game. It's like once you complete a segment, it's like that's a good chunk of the game gone, especially if you're speed running it. At least that's how it feels. I don't know. I don't play them as fast as a speedrunner, but when I watch a speedrunner, it's like I look up, okay, tanker's done. That's like what, 20 minutes? Maybe less than that now. I mean, I did the tanker in 20 minutes before, but I think it's probably much less now because you can really you can skip through the marine briefing area pretty fast, right? And then there's Olga. I remember playing it on extreme for the first time, just getting you can't get shot by Olga at all because she takes all your health from one shot. She's always shooting you in the head. So, but if you get a good rhythm down where if she decides to go one direction, you can just keep hitting her and stop her before she even does her unit cert or her unit speech, which is like you really don't want her to say that because it's like another 10 seconds or so. One and two are more sandboxy. I like the pain level, the end level, etc. Yeah, I just don't like the pain, to be honest. I don't like the sorrow either. I'm only gonna go to the end if I don't have the sorrow camo. I don't mind any of the other boss fights. I don't know. I don't know how I feel about the car chases, the chase scenes. They're all right, I guess. I don't know. I feel like yeah, the bosses are okay. The bosses are okay in three. I feel like you don't get the same feeling as you did when you fought the bosses in Metal Gear Solid One. I think those had the best bosses. I feel like it seemed like more was at stake, and then you had that nice boss soundtrack where it's all like super like serious or whatever. It's not like the I don't know what would you even call that. I don't even know. You have enough backtracking in one and two to make it seem like it's sandboxy, I guess, right? You don't really backtrack very much in three and let until they set you back at the beginning. Like when you're virtuous mission and then you do Snake Eater, okay, now you're back at the beginning again, right? But you have no reason to go back there anymore once you pass a certain point. Um, yeah, you go to what was it? You go to that red house twice, and then once you pass the ocelot, you don't go back there anymore. So yeah, it's more linear. Three is more linear. MGS1's bosses all felt creative and had a lot of personality. MGS2's bosses had personality, but were all kind of weird fights. Yeah, yeah, I could see that. They were doing it's a lot of callbacks too. Besides Fortune and Fat Man's fights. Well, I don't know. Maybe Fat Man could be compared to Vulcan Raven, maybe because you have the top down view and you have the segmented boxes that you have to maneuver through. But instead of avoiding Vulcan Raiden or chasing him, depending on how you fight, I don't know. You're looking for bombs if you allow him to plant the bombs. You basically just can't let Fat Man get away from you, otherwise you're going to have a little scavenger hunt to do. right? Vamp is like, I don't know, Vamp is kind of like Ocelot, but it's on two different planes. Like you got on the bottom rail Vamp, and then you got on the top rail Vamp, but it's basically the same thing. You're avoiding the middle, and you're going around it, like if you're playing it normally, right? Except Vamp can just stick. He can freeze you in one spot if he wants, and then the rest of it is just basically just a bullet hell where you're just shooting his knives out of the sky, or like a, I don't know, like a first person shooter or something like that. And Harrier fights basically hind again, except for you're stuck in one area. That's what it. That's, I think yeah, I guess Olga's fights like that too. It's almost like Ocelot, but you're stuck in one area. You're like either to the, well, two areas, I guess, to the left of the box, to the right of the boxes. I don't know. It's kind of weird. They do weird stuff, and then they'll have it so that you can't see her because she'll shoot the tarp, and you got, you have to try to like guess where she's at, and it's very annoying stuff. I don't know. Yeah, yeah, I would say yeah, their fights are weird. They're definitely unique in a way, but it's not like it's not as direct as Metal Gear Solid One, where you're like, okay, the guy's right there, just shoot him, right? It's like, no, you gotta do all this other stuff first. You have to you have to fight Olga. You have to shoot Olga before while being exposed, and all this stuff is in the way, like a tarp or the light. She'll shoot the light towards you. Somehow the bullet can move the entire searchlight right at you, and you can't see anything. So you have to shoot while having your vision obstructed. Uh, I guess the guard rush counts, right? There's a guard rush in one, two, and three, and four. And I guess five is always a guard rush. I don't know. Solidus, that's your one-on-one melee fight, right? Melee weapon, that is. It's not really, yeah. It's very formulaic. They kept the formula in for all the previous stuff, but they are probably the most unique out of all of them. I guess Metal Gear Solid Three's bosses are more direct too, because you just shoot them. That's basically it. You just shoot them. You can't shoot the Fury while he's shooting fire. You shoot uh Volgan, when he doesn't have the electricity around him or whatever, or I don't know, the bullets, something, electricity, bullet fields, whatever the heck. Fury is or not Fury. The Fear is probably the most straightforward out of, well, yeah, I would say the most straightforward out of all of those. Really, you can shoot him at any time, right? Pretty sure you could. The Pain's got his little bees, the little protective bees or whatever. And then you have Ocelot, which you don't get any more straightforward than that. It's one guy with a gun versus another guy with a gun. Hey, Odyssey. I'm good. How are you? Welcome to the stream. Good afternoon. It's almost afternoon. LOL, and a bunch of dudes making fun of your croc hat. Oh yeah. Yeah, I didn't use it that much. It's kind of out of the way to get, but you can get it. Yeah, I remember if you call people with that hat on, they make fun of you. Yeah. Because I think you can carry that over from New Game Plus, right? Going pretty well. I've never done I I'm doing characters here in Blender to use as reference for a webcomic. And I've practiced this for a bit, but I don't really do clothes that often. So I'm learning how to do clothes for the first time, starting with the boots. And this is what I have so far. This is the basic design that I have for some combat boots. This guy's like a soldier type character, and he's the first character that appears in the story. So I am doing him first, and once this is done, I can do the clothing. I do have uh, some know-how with fabrics, with clothing fabrics, but pockets and collars I don't really do. I play with Daz, and you don't deal with a lot of clothes either. Yeah, I started with Daz actually. Yeah, I was just talking to someone about that earlier. But what I did was I got a basic dude, and I had an add-on where you it's basically like a character creator slider for that you would find in a video game that you could put in Daz Studio. Low base guy, yeah, he sent me your info. Oh, hey, yeah, 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 yeah. He was very kind. He's very kind to share my stream in your community. I'm going to join it later when I'm done with the stream here, um, which will be soon actually. But yes, I thank you for coming by. But yeah, I was that's what I was doing at first, but I figured I might as well just learn how to just create the sculpts myself, and that way I can make the character look however I want, and I can pose them, and I learned how to do all that stuff before I started streaming. It took a while, but I got it. And this is what I have so far. This is the high poly version, and I did some low poly off stream here, and hope and somewhere down the line I'm gonna bake the details of the high poly onto this. And I think the body right now is so far as sculpting is good, but I'm doing the clothing now, so I'm learning as I go. So this is what I got, and I just need to. I think the basic shape's pretty good. I'm gonna start doing the details here. I'm trying to get it to where I can get the grips underneath the boots and sculpt them without having to. Maybe I can start doing it. I had to beat those up because his feet were showing through, so I had to remesh it a couple of times. I'm just making sure that this looks pretty good. It's still a little rough, but we're getting there slowly. It's not bad for a first try, I think. I got the basic shape in there. Just trying to get to the point where this plane here is flat. Welcoming and dynamic books are growing in popularity. Yeah, when I learned how to I learned through comics. Web comics. Okay. All right. Yeah, I thought you were trying to say like things like anatomy for sculptors or something like that, or form a head and neck. That's what I used to learn how to sculpt a body, basically. Very useful tools. But as far as clothing, I figured out how to mask and extract certain body parts, and I'm just basically using that and creating clothing out of the whatever mesh I'm extracting from the body. I just masked both of his feet, and then slowly took the toes and rounded them out into boots and things like that. And this is the result of that. I actually did that yesterday. That was lit yesterday's stream, so you can go on the VOD if you want to see how I did that. And I'm going to do the same thing for his shirt, but I have a cloth simulator for the pants and the shirt. Oh, thank you so much, Odyssey. It's very kind of you to say. Yeah, I'm still learning. That's kind of the purpose of the stream. Like I kind of want to document the progress of my webcomic, but I'm always learning, and I just wanted to show my learning process here, and that's what I'm basically doing. And yeah, I have what I wanted to use a fabric simulator because I wouldn't have to sculpt the wrinkles. It naturally flows around the body like like clothes normally do, and then I can just go for like basically the most common things for wrinkles that would always be there, like between here, like you would have a lot of wrinkles here, or some wrinkles like around the joints, basically. That all will come naturally instead of having to do it from scratch. So I'm gonna try to do that. I'll probably just do the underclothes and the boots with a mask and extract. And then I have a garment tool right here. This is what I use. As soon as I'm done with the boots, I'm going to do that. It's a very simple process, and it kind of cuts down on the time. So I'm gonna try to do the clothes with that. I could do all the clothes like I'm doing mask and extract, but then I have to sculpt all the things. And if I can't get this to work, that will be plan B. But that is the process that I'm thinking of doing going forward. So we'll be seeing a lot of that. So we have here. Okay. I think what I'm gonna have to do is I want to try to flatten the top of this, the edge of this, the soles here. Try to get that separation between the sole and the actual boot, because that is something you would see in a normal boot. So I'm gonna have to kind of flatten that a little bit. I may have to remesh it. Oh, thank you so much for following Odyssey. I very much appreciate that. Are you a streamer as well, Odyssey? I forgot to ask Little Bass Guy that. I know he mentioned a community. I was wondering if it was a community of streamers or just just creative types in general. I'm just curious. I'm going to continue flattening this, and okay, we got a little thing. This isn't so bad, right? Like that's something you could see in a boot. Like if there's enough wear and tear, this guy's gonna have he's not gonna have fresh boots on, but just for the purposes of this, we're going to make them new-ish for now, and we'll just add some minimal wear and tear. So I'm gonna try to get rid of that gash there in this boot. That probably can be fixed with remeshing there. So we're gonna pull. You can see there's a little bit uneven. It goes up a little bit. This part of the heel goes up a little bit, so I'm gonna pull it down. Whoa, pull it down. Okay, there we go. Now we're gonna push that in just a little bit. We hub out of Discord, but the majority of the stream, I was a gamer years ago and transitioned over last year when I started OGD doing my art. Oh, okay, cool. Yeah, I do some very light gaming, but I want to try to incorporate that back into my stream. I um I I was very lackadaisical. I guess that's how you say it, right? But I was very relaxed, a very relaxed streamer back in the day. I just did it for fun. I'm still doing it for fun, but what I did was I just streamed random games back in 2013, and I didn't have a mic or a camera. You know, I had a headset, but I didn't always use it, and I would just whenever I felt like I would just stream. And then decided to, I have all these ideas for art that I wanted to do or work on. So I stopped streaming and I wrote an entire volume for a webcomic that I had in my head for years. I got my basically enough to make my own little universe at this point, and I wanted to do animation too, but right now I'm just focused on the webcomic. So once I got done with the story, I was like, okay, when I design the characters, I can go back to streaming. I'll just stream myself doing the pages. But then once I really got into 3D art and using that as reference, I thought, yeah, why not stream this too? So I started streaming the 3D art as well, and all the basically the process that I plan to use for the webcomic. And my aim is just to pose these guys and then use them, or pose these characters and then use them in the panels and whatnot. Try to not to make them look so stiff as well, because they're good. You don't want a guy like this, hey, what are you doing? But yeah, I learned how to rig. That was very challenging to do. It seems a little it's a bit tedious to do that manually, but yeah, it works. You can pose them and put them in lighting. Hell yeah, it's super interesting to watch. Oh yeah, yeah, it was very interesting to get into. I was like, wow, I was able to get it quick enough to where I was like, okay, I didn't feel like I was struggling or whatever. I normally just did you know, pen and pencil on paper and some painting in school, but I decided to transition to digital art in 2010, and I've been doing that ever since. And I enjoy it, you know. I really enjoy this. I literally just um practice this enough to be to become, you know, make this viable, I would guess. This is basically a newly acquired skill. I've only been doing it for like a year and a half, maybe two. But I enjoy this a lot. This is very fun. Let's see. Let's see. What do we have here? Just trying to make sure that everything is good before I want to try to stretch these meshes as far as I can without having to remesh them, so we don't have a bloated polygon count here and slow down the system. It's not like ZBrush where you can just go as far as you want. You know, this program kind of starts lagging when you get high enough, so I'm trying to limit that. That's why we have the low poly, and but we have to get the details of the high poly so we can bake on a low poly. We can make low poly meshes of these boots and then bake the details onto that, which is basically what I already did with the body. My last few streams, well, besides yesterday, my last few streams where I went I did a digital art project, and I was trying to for practice, and I wanted to determine how the webcomic would look. I'm pretty satisfied with the result of that. When I polish that, I'm going to post it somewhere very soon. Let's see. Okay, boots. I'll make this a little bit flatter. Still just a little bit uneven in certain areas. So just trying to I want to pull this out some so that way I can flatten it without having the feet go through the mesh. Let's see. Let's see. Let's see. Oh, I don't want to use this brush because that kind of deforms it a little bit. But I inflated some. Okay. I thought I would have trouble doing some boots because I've never done boots before. When I was learning how to do meshes, I downloaded some free footwear to just to visualize the concept of a clothed character, and it was a little tricky getting them to fit around the character because you know they weren't made for the character. You know they were very. I had to separate the meshes and split them apart. That's awesome. We'll be sure to let me know when you do. I've got lots of friends in the reader writer where oh okay, yeah, I'm trying to get it. I'm trying to get it moving. I think when I do low poly meshes and retopologize them, I'm going to just go ahead and start with another mesh just to get it going. I only need to do 7 characters, and I have the prologue in a. I'm okay with the where the prologue is as far as the writing is concerned, so I can start doing pages with the prologue. I only need 7 of these characters made, so I'm trying to speed that process up some without rushing. Hopefully, we can get that done sometime in the near future. It's just the only thing that's really holding me back now is moving my process completely on Blender. I learned how to do 3D sculpting on ZBrush and Substance Painter and a little bit of Maya, but I don't have any licenses for those mod or for those programs, so I can't use them anymore. Especially if I decide to take these meshes and do anything else with them, like you know, a game or an animation or anything that you know the general public could have access to files to, right? So, are you wanting to do commission work? I'll keep my ear out for you. I'll do my own, but I don't take on work. I thought about it. I do have like one request for a friend, but it's not something that I'm focused on. But I guess I could in theory, right? I mean, I already know how to. I mean, I can do a 3D model, so it wouldn't be too far out of the realm of possibilities, like to do Samus or something. Fan arty. I'm open to it. I guess is what I'm trying to say. I've been putting all my eggs in the webcomic basket lately, so I've been working on that. But yeah, I'm open to it. Those friend requests get interesting. LOL. Yeah. Um, as soon as I get to the hair portion of this, because I did the hair in Z. Well, I do know how to do the hair in Blender, so that shouldn't be too bad. But I started doing it in ZBrush, um, and I did texturing in Substance Painter, so I kind of and I know how to take and import the textures from that to this, but I've never actually done the textures in this program, so that's going to be another learning experience for me. I'm still moving my what I know onto fully doing Blender because it's free, unless you get an add-on that isn't free, then it's not free. Not as free. But yeah, once I transfer what I know to doing it in Blender, then we should get a nice flow going as far as productivity, getting more and more meshes out, and then I can start making actual scenes and planning out panels and whatnot. Because the story is good, good isn't done. I don't know if it's. I'm satisfied with it. I can say that, but we'll see. I'm gonna need a general consensus here. I want people to see it and give me feedback and whatnot. But we'll see how that goes. Hopefully, I'm trying to get some pages out this summer, but we'll see. And it's already the summer is fast approaching. I'm still in the first mesh, so we'll see how that goes. Uh, I had to learn how to do topology manually for the first time, and that kind of set me back a little bit because I've never done that before. Zebra Mesher is very helpful in that. You get generally higher polygon counts when you use Zebra Mesher. That's only because the mesh that I'm remeshing is like millions and millions of polygons because ZBrush doesn't seem to have any upper limit. Well, maybe it does. I think, but I think my highest polygon count was like 60 million polygons, and ZBrush can take that down to like below 150, which is still kind of high. All right, I appreciate that, Odyssey. As soon as I get everything ready, all the links, I'll have them on this page, so you don't have to go anywhere extra besides clicking on links. Um, yeah, I'm very happy with the progress that I've made so far. I wanted to avoid a lot of the pitfalls that I've noticed in comics. All I have to do, I have it set up to where all I have to do is just draw the pages. I don't have to worry about where the story is going to go because it's already written. Okay, I don't have to worry about writing myself into a corner because it's already written again. I'm the only one. I'm a one man team. It'll be a bit slower, but I don't have to worry about like who anyone else working on the team, quitting or whatever. So because it's just me. So a lot of the things that I've seen that have become problems in other people's web comics, I don't have to worry about. So literally, all I have to do is just continue drawing, and eventually, I can reach the end. Do have more volumes planned. Right now, we're just on volume one, and I made it so that if you read volume one and for whatever reason I can't do any more additional volumes, it's a standalone story and it'll stand on its own. It's not gonna you're not gonna be left on a cliffhanger forever and ever, unless you interpret it as a cliffhanger. I don't know. I try to make it stand alone, so we'll see. Let's see. Okay, still, it's not completely flat down there. So let me see if I can try to flatten it a little bit more without messing up the the soles here. That's what I'm doing. I want to flatten it, and then you know what isn't what wasn't a cliffhanger? What? What realness? What's not a cliffhanger? Mufasa. Oh, that's messed up. Yeah, but you're not wrong though. He just wanted his brother's help. His brother helped him, all right. Pretty dark for a Disney movie, but if you look at, you know what I did before? I looked at a compilation of all the Disney deaths. Yo, they're actually they're kind of hard, man. I'm like, yeah, I've never seen every Disney movie. I've only seen a handful of them. I wasn't really much of a Disney kid growing up. But when you look at all, when you see a compilation of all the deaths that they did in every one of their movies, they are quite hardcore. For as hardcore as you can be without, yeah, a little morbid, yeah. As far as you can possibly go without scarring a kid, right? And I'm like, wow, I was a little shocked, and I was grown, and I'm a grown person when I said, I do like some macabre things, right? I do draw like creature designs and monsters and things like that, but it's just something I didn't expect in a Disney cartoon. Um, yeah, it was it was, you know what it was? It was the do you remember the meme, the what you say meme by it's the song by Imogen Heap. I think Saturday Night Live turned it into a meme where they had the Lonely Island people, or the guy, what's his name, Andy Samberg. It's like somebody would say something. I think it was a parody of a sitcom. I think it was Orange County or something like that. Like someone had got shot, and then they start playing the what you say music, the what you say, and then Saturday Night Live did it, and then it became a meme. Somebody had made a compilation of all the Disney deaths to that. Every time someone, the moment that they die, they would play the what you say music, and just make it even more dramatic it's supposed to be. I guess I don't know. Uh, I've seen one with Star Wars too. All right, I've got to run, but I'm so super glad to meet you. I will see you in the web and around. Thanks a lot, Odyssey. Thank you for stopping by, and thank you for your follow. I very much appreciate that, and I appreciate you as well. I'm going to be Bambi and Mufasa were the moments that made kids grow up. Oh yeah, I didn't see Bambi, but I do know of the beginning. Yeah, I'm gonna join the Discord that that low base guy had given me as soon as I'm done with the stream. I'll see you around. I'm gonna be ending soon here anyway. I'm just looking at anything that I could possibly do before I go. I guess I can try working on the sides here, the sides of the boot, flattening them a little bit more, just so it looks more like a boot and not a sock. Yeah, Tarzan had a pretty hardcore one. Um, Mulan, I think someone blew up. They just literally just exploded. There was one with a tiger. I think it was Jungle Book, where a giant bell just falls on an animal. He's dead. I guess I don't know. I heard he didn't die, but they don't explain this at the end of the movie. So for all intents and purposes, he died at that moment. Um, yeah, Tarzan's the guy. The guy gets hung or something. Like he hangs himself on a rope, or not on a rope, on a vine. Yeah. Um, what was the one? The one with is the no, the Hunchback of Notre Dame is not a Disney movie, isn't it? I think that's a different company that did that one, right? Or am I wrong? I haven't seen that since the third grade, and I don't even remember it. To be honest, I only know of the end because of the compilation. Oh, that was Disney. Okay, I saw the end of that. Like he fell or something. Like he was trying to grab Esmeralda, and he really wanted to grab her for some reason, and he miscalculated his foot. That was either the Hunchback or that was Beauty and the Beast. I don't remember because they both have like an aristocrat looking dude as like a bad guy, and he's like trying to get the girl or whatever. I know that was part of the plot with the Hunchback because the guy was like deeply religious, but like a real hard on for Esmeralda, and he was like, and he that kind of like made him a villain or whatever, which is kind of an adult theme for a Disney movie, but that's basically what it was. Uh, yeah, they were man, and of course Mufasa. They didn't show him like slam. Wait, did they show him slam into the ground? I don't remember. Did they? I haven't seen it. The Hunchback had no business being a kids cartoon. Yeah, it was very adult themed. The guy was ready to give up his religion. Then he tried to like forcefully take her, like he was like trying to kidnap her or something like that. I don't really remember the movie, but I got the gist of it. Anyways, pull this down some. Very let me see. Disney movies I've seen, you see him fall at the wildebeest, right? Yeah, it was like a loose brick or something. He he wanted her that bad, and he just at least yeah, I think that was the Hunchback. I might be confusing that with Beauty and the Beast, but yeah. And I do remember the Little Mermaid where they just drove an entire ship mast, or not mast, but the was it the bow or the stern? I don't remember. I'm the pointy end of the ship. They drove it into her stomach and basically impaled her with it. She grew all big and she was like drunk with power, and they just decided to just drive the ship over. We're gonna kill her. Oh my goodness, why? Oh yeah, and what was it? What was else was in that compilation? I think it was Sleeping Beauty, where he just takes the sword and chucks it and just nails the dragon right in the heart. I knew of the stories because I had the book forms of them when I was little, but I never actually watched any of the cartoons. I've seen The Little Mermaid, I've seen Lion King, I've seen Aladdin. Aladdin's probably my favorite. Yep, yeah, me too, realness. Aladdin is my favorite, and I did see The Hunchback. I saw Beauty and the Beast, but I don't remember it too much. Most of these were like in the second grade too. I seen Fox and the Hound. I think that's a Disney movie. I could be wrong. I might be um confusing that with what's the other guy? Bloom. Was it Bloom? He did Rockadoodle. He did Oliver and Company. That guy. He was like a former Disney worker, and he made his own company. Sometimes I confuse those two movies. Um, Disney. Okay. All dogs go to heaven. If you want to see a dog drown, I guess watch that movie. I'm not a pet person, but I don't want to see. Okay. He's trying to he's trying to get to the surface, and he just doesn't make it. I'm like, wow. Okay. I'm supposed to be happy about this. I don't want to bum my kids out. I know I was bummed out when I seen that. I was like, wow, I didn't make it. I guess all dogs really do go to heaven. Man, Secret of Nymph guy. Yeah, yeah. Um, I had Rockadoodle, but I've seen a couple of his movies too. He's very good animation. I was thinking about studying it because I want to dabble in anime. I dabbled a little bit of animation, but I want to like really get down and do an animation project one of these days. We'll see how it goes. Okay, that looks pretty flat. I can flatten it some more, but doing all right. Maybe I should keep scraping it. Okay. Oh, Let me control Z that because I completely missed the bottom of that shoe. All dogs go to heaven is insane, even as a concept. Yeah, I'm like, all right, he gets to come back, and he just, I mean, they kill him again, man. I was like, wow, you want him to come back and get to live again, but no, no, he doesn't get that. I don't even remember what happened, but I remember that part. That really stuck with me. That's the only part of the movie I remember, to be honest. I remember he had some kind of timepiece that was it was like a gauge or whatever of, I don't even remember. It did something important. Like I guess it told him how much time he had left or something. I don't remember. Honestly don't remember what the timepiece was for, but I remember he had it. And then I remember him dying. I remember him drowning. Like that part I'll never forget. If that's what they were going for, okay, they succeeded. I was still in elementary school when I saw that. I'm pretty sure I was in second grade because that's when I seen most Disney movies that were out at the time, and I remember that. I remember Scar's claws going into Mufasa's paw, and then he just lifts them off, and it's like, ah! I don't remember if they showed him hit the ground, but I remember that the hyenas were going to eat him, but they didn't show it because Simba had to run away. So yeah, but you can probably imply those hyenas had a good meal. Let me tell you. I'm glad I was too young to remember all dogs. The drowning would have scarred me. Yeah, I remember it. I was like, wow, that took a dark turn. And of course, they have a sequel. I don't remember if I saw the sequel though. Just want to do a few more passes of this before I stop. I think some room for error can be done because, like I said, he does not have new boots on. I'm going to put some wear and tear on them, but I just want to get them as accurate as I can before I start deforming them. All I remember about that movie is it felt like a drug trip. I know it took place in the city. I remember the end, of course, and I remember he had like a timepiece that did something. It kept track of something. It wasn't just time. It was like his time on Earth, something like that. And I remember him losing it or something. I think that's why he drowned because they took it away from him, and then he was trying. I don't remember how he fell in the water, but he was trying to get to the surface, and then they were showing him like because he couldn't make it. He was like inhaling a lot of water, and he just that was it. That was the end. And then at the end of the movie, he's in heaven singing, and I was not pleased. I remember that. I was not pleased with that. I was just like, wow, I do not feel as happy as they do at the end of this movie right now. And I remember the Little Mermaid. They took her voice. The or Ursula took her voice, and then because she wanted to be with the guy, and then but she couldn't say anything because she took all of her voice, and she had to get it back. And then I don't know, she had the Poseidon's trident, and she was drunk with power, and they killed her. Basically, they killed her. I guess they had to kill her, but they killed her. I remember that. Like they put the whole ship, drove her into her gut, basically eviscerated her right there on the spot. That's probably a lot of blood too, and guts like in the sea. Because I'm sure they didn't really show what happened after that, but they definitely showed the ship mast or whatever the bow of the ship going into her, and I think they showed some blood too, but I don't remember. It's been so long. I don't think Aladdin had like a like a traumatizing Disney death. I don't remember that. I've probably seen more of Aladdin than all the others, and Lion King as well. I remember those are the two I watched the most was Lion King and Aladdin. And I used to play the Genesis games too of especially Aladdin. I'm not tried Lion King, but I didn't own it. But I had Aladdin, so I played that a lot. So I kind of still remember a lot of the story just because I remember how the game went. I wanted to watch Mortal Kombat Annihilation, but my mom wanted to watch the Little Mermaid re-release. I gotta say, realness, you dodged a bullet. It was better to see the first one on in the movie theater. I missed out on that. I had to watch it on a bootleg. I was in the backyard playing with my friends, and one of my cousins, one of my older cousins, they were out front in a car calling for me. I didn't hear them, but they were going to take me to go see the movie right then and there, and I didn't hear them. I didn't get to see it in the theater, but I did see it on home on bootleg. And then after a while on TV, and then we rented it a few times, and that's clearly the better movie. Don't play the Lion King game. That's basically Jurassic Park NES 2D. It's just that one level that was kind of difficult. The I did play it. It was the one with you have to what was it? Was it the running one? Yeah, the running one. That's all it was. I was a dumb kid. Yeah, I saw Mortal Kombat Annihilate. We rented it, and it's nowhere near like the first one. Unfortunately, you get to see Scorpion fight Sub Zero, which honestly they should have had that in the first movie, but it was underwhelming. It's not the same rating, even though I'm a fan of James Remar, but Christopher Lambert should have came back. I actually like James Remar as an actor, and Lyndon Ashby, Johnny Cage, they they killed him. They killed this character off, and they didn't bring him back. So um, that was a mistake because he's part of the reason why the first one was so good. When I eventually saw Annihilation on VHS, I thought it was Citizen Kane. Yeah, that's yep, exactly. Yep. He saw that and he was like, I get killed off on the first page. He was like, nah, I'm not going in this. I'm not going. And I'm glad he wasn't in that movie because, you know, he was pretty good in it. He had very good lines. And he actually had some martial arts. I'd never heard of that guy, but it was a good debut. Oh, I know he's been in other stuff, but that was a good action movie debut, I guess I would say. I've never seen him in anything other than he was in one of the Resident Evils. I think he was in the third Resident Evil, but they didn't really have him doing much in that movie. The Mila Jovovich Resident Evil movies. Uh, the one where they finally kill Mike Epps. I think that was the one, the third one, right? Yeah, because they carried him over for the second one, and then they decide, all right, we had enough of this guy. They killed him off. But yeah, I don't know what happened, man. They all they had to literally had to do was just do what they did with the first one, but better. But no, they didn't. They did not do that. It did worse. It did worse. Mike Epps was in more than one of those movies. Yeah, he started because I seen them all. There were times when I was bored, okay, and Resident Evil was there, so I I watched it. I watched every single one of them. I saw the third. He starts in the second one, and then he comes over to the third one, and they carry him off. I made it to the second one and tapped out. Yeah, I'm not saying they're good, but I did end up watching them all. Um, there were some things that they got right, like Wesker. I thought they did Wesker pretty well. Um, but and maybe Jill, but Jill was like in the back seat. She took a back seat in the movies. It was all about Alice, and that's the original character. You know, she was married to the director, and you know, anyway, it's all about Alice. So there's that. I don't think you'll ever see Alice in the video game. But yeah, Mike Epps was in the second one, um, and then he was in the third one, and he gets bit. And then the guy from the Mummy was in. He was in that one too. The guy who plays the Middle Eastern dude with the sword. He was in those. He played Carlos. Carlos was in Resident Evil 3. Eventually, they got rid of him too. But they had almost every character in there. I don't remember if they had Leon, but they definitely had Chris. They had Claire. They did not have Sherry, I think. They had an original character named Kmart. She was in a few of them. Uh, they had Wesker. They had Jill. They had both versions of Jill, where they had the Resident Evil 3 with the tube top and the white sweater tied around. Not the remake Resident Evil 3, where she's a little more modern, but the original Resident Evil 3. And they had the working for Wesker version of Jill, where they put like a device on her chest, and now she's being controlled by Wesker, and they had to like rip it off or something. They had that version of Jill as well. Yeah, it was I don't know. I guess they have their fans in their own way, but it's I would prefer if they stuck to the games in the future. I have not seen the TV series yet. The Netflix series, I think it is. I think at least I think it's a predominantly Netflix series. I could be wrong, but they have a Netflix series. But yeah, you made. I think you made the right decision. The second one, I saw the second one on PSP. Somebody had it for PSP when back when PSP had movies on there. You could buy movies for your PSP if you want. Yeah, I had I knew people with a PSP and I had a PSP. Yeah, the Glow UMD. Yeah, I had Spider-Man 2. There were some PSPs that came with Spider-Man 2 as a movie and Resident Evil. Someone they had Resident Evil and that's how I saw it. That's how I saw the second one was through a PSP. And it was something, if you sit there and hold it, watch it, watch an entire movie like this, where you can put it on your lap or something. I don't know, but yeah, because of that PSP, I've seen Spider-Man 2 so many times, so many times. I may have watched Resident Evil 2 more than once just out of boredom, but yeah, it's I don't know. I'm a fan of Resident Evil, but yeah, they do a lot of callbacks to the games, but it's basically still a departure. They managed to kind of hit a balance to where people will still watch it and it pays some tribute to the game, but it's also like its own thing. So you just have to take that. You just have to go in knowing that you're not. If you really like the game and you just want to see something from the game, you're going to see something from the game, but not in the way you expect. LOL. I feel like there are more Spider-Man 2 UMDs than DVDs. Yeah, probably. Yeah, yeah. It used to come with the PSP. I didn't get one for mine, but I had a friend that had one, and he bought it. This was in, I guess, in since 2004. I guess I don't know. Since that's when Spider-Man 2 came out, they were doing that for PSP. By the time I got one, you just get a PSP and nothing else. And the first one I got didn't even charge the battery correctly. I had to leave it plugged in. It wouldn't save. The save port wouldn't work, and the battery wouldn't work. So I had to leave it plugged in, and then just basically just play everything from scratch every time. And then I had to buy a new PSP. I guess the first one I had was defective, and then yeah, I can't think of any other movies I had for PSP, but those were two that I watched. It was Spider-Man 2 and another movie that would be in like every used PSP bin. Yeah, I'm trying to think. I knew there were more than one release movies that came with it. I say I got a vanilla one. Crouching Tiger, Hidden Dragon was on PSP. I did not know that. I didn't know anybody who had that one. It was mainly just Spider-Man 2 and Resident Evil Apocalypse. I believe the second one is called in my circles. Excuse me. Woo. Yeah, that's Crouching Tiger and Dragon, huh? Wow. Yeah, I didn't know. Yeah, PSP was, I mean, it wasn't the greatest handheld, but when you're traveling around the world, it was handy for that, I guess. Your phone might not always work, but PSP did. So I was grateful for it for that. But yeah, it was far from the greatest handheld. It didn't last very long, and I still have my PSPs, but the batteries have destroyed them. The batteries exploded inside the PSP. The battery covered door won't close. It The battery bloated, and then I guess at some point it popped because when I found the PS, I don't know why I didn't hear it because I have them in my closet, but I've never heard any noise, so it must have happened when I wasn't around or in at work or something, or maybe I was asleep when it happened. But when I found my PSP, the door was somewhere else. The battery is fat and gone. I'm pretty sure it damaged the PSP beyond repair. So, and then on top of that, I don't know what happened to my games. My games are completely gone. I had like a bag full of games. maybe a movie or two, but I don't remember any other movies that I watched. I'm pretty sure there was like one or two more, but yeah. The turquoise one for Peace Walker, I bought a new PSP for that because I gave my old one away. So I was like, okay. And I was like, oh, Peace Walker, huh? Okay. I'll try that. I like portable ops, why not? And this one's made by Hideo Kojima, so maybe it'll be worth playing. I got it, and that battery exploded too, and that was like my newest PSP. I only had that one for, let's see, by the time I found it exploded, that was what, 6, 7, maybe 8 years later. I would say those batteries don't last long. Whatever the case, it's not like I had it plugged in and charging the entire time. It was in my PSP, inside of a storage container in a cool area. So I don't know. Pokemon Ruby batteries lasted longer than those batteries. It's unfortunate. I know for one thing, I didn't get a Vita. I'll tell you that. Like, forget that. Maybe I should have went with Nintendo on that one. I got a Switch now. That's my only handheld now. And that's very reliable. I can leave that plugged in for years and it won't damage the battery at all, which is very very good in my opinion. For me, I can play it on my monitors here if I wanted to, or handheld, and the battery lasts the same as it always does. I don't play it much, but when I do play it, it's very reliable. The stick is good. It's not worn or anything. I've only played. I played Let's Go Eevee a lot. I didn't play. I played a little bit of Sword and Shield. I went into shiny hunting, so I haven't beaten that game yet. And I have Tears. I have a Breath of the Wild waiting, just waiting to go. And Smash Brothers. I didn't play a lot of Smash Brothers, but I can literally just fire up, start playing Breath of the Wild right now. I just haven't yet. And I will get Tears of the Kingdom too, because I want to play through all the Zeldas. I think 99 gave me the ability to hook it up and stream it. So expect that someday in the future. As soon as I figure out it, I still have the parts that he gave me for that, like a converter or something like that, and some in an Ethernet cord. So I'm definitely going to do that someday in the future. Yeah, I bought it. I'm gonna play it. I just wanted to hold off until I get all the Zeldas ready to go and just play them from the first one to uh, Tears of the Kingdom. I almost called it Breath of the Kingdom or Tears of the Wild. I haven't even played them, and I get them too confused because they're similar. I don't know. I avoided all media contact of those games outside of art. Sometimes people draw the characters out of the art, or they'll animate them in some weird stuff. But I haven't seen anything on the game. I actively avoid all footage of that game to this day, just so I can go in blind and just play it. So I don't know anything about. The only thing that I know about Breath of the Wild is that you can just go straight to the end and fight Ganon, because I think that's like a type of speed run. That's the only thing I know about it. But other than that, which Zeldas have you played? I played the first one. I got to the end. I couldn't find the silver arrows. This was many, many years ago when I was younger. Um, I played Adventure of Link. I was completely lost in that. I didn't know what to do. I found some stuff, but you kind of, I guess you kind of need a guide for that game. I don't know. I played Ocarina of Time. I 100% of that. That was the first Zelda I was super into, and I can probably still 100% that to this day because even if I forget exactly where the skulltulas are, the map tells you, like the map UI tells you if you got them all or not. So just from process of elimination, I can still find them all, and I know where all the secret stuff is, all the secret holes and whatnot. You definitely won't beat them. I tried. I'm sure someone can. I think people speed run it like that, right? I don't know though. Actually, yeah, I don't know. Um, Maybe one day I'll try it if it's possible. Uh, and, I did try a little bit of Twilight Princess. I remember catching that dude's goats, and I think when I got to the other dark world or whatever the heck it's called, the Twilight world for the first time, that's where I kind of stopped. Yeah, it's possible. It's crazy stuff though. Yeah, I figured. I have yet to play Wind Waker, but I do have that. I do have Wind Waker ready to go. I have it set up and ready. I have all the games that I have set up and ready to go. I could play Wind Waker. Um, I know there's like a fast swim glitch in that game because I did watch a little bit of footage on that because I had GDQ on and I was doing something and they were playing Wind Waker and then they were explaining how the glitch works. I know of that, but I don't know how to do it. Wind Waker is so good. Yeah, yeah. It looks very interesting to me. Do want to play it one day. When it first came out, I was a little unsold on it because I was like, man, cell shaded. I was like, why don't they put like because they when they said they were going to be a new Zelda, they made like a video to where they were going to use like modernized graphics, like really rendered graphics, and then they came out with Wind Waker. So I was like, oh, okay. But I didn't have a GameCube anyway, so it wasn't like I would. Yeah, part of the reason is why they teased the new Zelda with highly rendered graphics. But yeah, it's I don't mind cell shade. I felt the same way about Jet Set Radio. To be honest, at first, full disclosure, I was like, man, this game. I was like, why are they doing cartoony stuff when we have all this? I didn't say stuff, but why are they doing all this cartoony stuff when we have all these games that are like, I was more for like the realism stuff, right, or the more stylized stuff. I didn't like cell shaded stuff at first, but when I actually played Jet Set Radio, it it converted me. I was like, okay, I like cell shaded stuff now. This was pretty cool. I hated the Jet Set Radio commercial. So I didn't understand how Japan does their commercials. It's very very energetic stuff, very fast paced, energetic. It's almost like nonsensical. It's like a lot of stuff. They come at you with a lot of stuff, and I didn't understand that when I was younger. So I was like, this is annoying. But then I played it. I was like, this is really cool. This is really really cool. And I was only a little annoyed at Wind Waker because that's not how they advertise their new Zelda game. But like I said, I didn't have a GameCube anyway. I had a PS2, so it wasn't like I only knew one person with a GameCube, and they did not have Wind Waker. So we just played. No, I knew two people, and we mainly just played Smash Brothers, Metroid Prime, Resident Evil, the remake, and Zero. They didn't get Wind Waker for whatever reason. I guess they didn't like the cell shaded stuff, but yeah, if they would have got it, I would have played it. But yeah, it seems interesting. I don't mind anything cell shaded, especially now. If it's fun, I'll play it. I don't care how it looks. So I'm definitely want to give that one a shot. I'm actually looking forward to playing Wind Waker. And I did not try Skyward Sword yet, but I do have it. I think those are the only Zeldas that I play. Everyone who didn't get Wind Waker because of cell shading messed up bad. Yeah, I gotta say, yeah, I agree with you on that. Like I said, I didn't have a GameCube, so it wasn't like really an option for me. I mean, I could have gotten one, but I wanted the PS2 more. So I was working my first job, and I had it in my head to get a PS2. Besides, I was really big into 11, and I know they were going to release it for PS2 with the extra HDD drive, so I was really preparing for that. And all the games that I normally play, like Max Payne, and I guess maybe Max Payne was on GameCube. I don't know, but some of the PS2 exclusives, I wanted to play those instead of like Mario and Zelda and all the Nintendo staples. I was more into that than even though I do like the Nintendo staple stuff, I just wanted to play PS2 stuff more, so I did. Wind Waker's pre-order bonus was Ocarina of Time and Master Quest for GameCube. Yeah, I definitely missed out on that. I actually did want to play the Master Quest Ocarina of Time version, so I kind of screwed up there, but I ultimately just went with PS2. And I don't regret it. I like Dark Cloud, the Bouncer, Final Fantasy, and all those Final Fantasy games, and Summoner. I think I was playing Medal of Honor Frontline. That was like that's like the only one really that I actually like beyond the first Medal of Honor series of games. There's a Medal of Honor 1 and Medal of Honor Frontline. I don't like the rest of them. Get it? The bouncer, yeah. I wanted to play the bouncer. I was pretty into Squaresoft stuff, so anything Squaresoft came out with, I would give it a shot. Chrono Cross. I know Chrono Cross is not really well received by Chrono Trigger fans, but I do like Chrono Cross. That was the first entry in that series that I played and beat, and one of the few JRPGs that I've beaten overall. That game made me so mad. I was so hyped for it before I had a PS2. Yeah, it's very short. That's really the biggest complaint I have about it. Very short game. Beat that in a couple hours. Finally found it one day for $4 at Funko Land. My actual first game was because I had saved up everything for my first job to buy a PS2. I only had enough for Eternal Ring, which was like $3.99. And Eternal Ring, I didn't get into it, but apparently, it's not so bad. So I'm gonna try it one day. At least that's what I heard. I don't know. Apparently, it has a fan base. It didn't seem like something I'd be into at the time. It's very much like King's Field, which is like the precursor to Demon Souls, made by FromSoft on the PS1. It's like a first person fantasy, like hard stuff, kind of difficult. I don't think there's much more I can do with the shape right now. I guess I could try doing the. I'm gonna say that for tomorrow. I think I'm gonna start doing the grips, the soles tomorrow. I don't know how I'm gonna do that little star shape. Well, that's not gonna be bad. Just do it. I can easily do it. I actually know exactly how I'm gonna do it. Yeah, we're not doing so bad. It kind of look like if you just leave them like this, it's like the kind of the style of boots that you would find in like the original Final Fantasy VII, like Cloud or Barrett. They have like very oversized combat boot shape type boots. Yeah, it's a very short game. And the ragdolling, like if you get knocked off of your feet and you hit anything, it just exponentially increases the damage it's that you'll take from being hit. Yeah, JRPG adventure boots. Yeah. Like if a kid just like capoeira freaking spinneroonie kicks you, and then you hit your friend Cole or Volt, and y'all just ragdoll it at each other, and you just lose all your health. That was very annoying in the bouncer. Very annoying. I hated that. But other than that, I like beat 'em ups. It was a good beat 'em up. It just should have been longer and I don't know, a little more less repetitive, I guess. A little less repetitive, not more or less repetitive. But yeah, it was I kind of hoped that they would continue that, but it's very unlikely now since Squaresoft is not Squaresoft anymore. It's nowhere near. They don't do things like they did back in 2000 anymore. It's very different now, but who knows? Never say never. I thought Streets of Rage was dead, and here we got not only another good entry of the series, but another one coming. Same thing with Jet Set Radio. So never say never. Someday somebody in Japan might change their mind on bringing back old stuff. They usually just put all their eggs in a few franchise baskets and roll with those. But every now and then you might see something come back. Kingdom Hearts is the bouncer prequel in my head canon. Yeah, a lot of people compare Sion and Sora. They do look similar, like too similar. And it doesn't help that the artist. I think his name was Tetsuya Nomura. I think he designed the art for both of those games and a lot of the games during that time. Maybe he still does. No, I think he left Square Enix now, but yeah, I like his art. And there's another guy too, the guy who did the Final Fantasy VII art. I like his art too. I forget his name right now, but yeah, they're pretty good artists. I do like their style of art. He's still there. Oh, he is. Oh, okay. I thought he left. It must have been the Final Fantasy VII guy that left, and he's definitely an alter. Yeah, I like his art. I like his style of art. There was a point. There was a time where I kind of wanted to. to do like an anime style like that, but I haven't drawn anime in a very long time. Maybe one day I'll do it. All right. I think we're going. You can tell it's no more. It's very distinct. Yes, yeah. It's just like It's just like what's his name? Yoshitaka Amano in that sense. But we're going to I'm going to stop it here. Okay. Thank you all for coming out. Thank you for following to those who followed, and thank you to those who watched the VOD and the archive on YouTube. Appreciate you all. Tomorrow we're going to continue this, and if you stop by, I will see you then. Okay. Until then, have a great rest of your day, and I will see you tomorrow.